Higurashi do it. Hello? Thank you for that headband. It works! It works. Sorry. I forgot my my interface had a firmware update the other day. Hi! Oh. Yeah? It works! It works! It works, smile. Hi! Hello, everybody. No! Oh my god. You, when I get all of you, when I get all of you. Dickie, thank you for the 50 gift subs offline. Don, thank you for the 2 gift subs who literally gifted 2 minutes before I started stream. And Vec, thank you for the, has it been 6 months? The 6-month resub. What the heck? You, and I get you, and I get you, and I get you, you, and I get you, you. I am so tired. I have been so EB recently. I think it's because my diet has been shit. I need to fast. Tomorrow I fast the whole day. Reset my fucking body. Twitch lying to you? It's only been 1 month? Really? It says resubscribe for 6 months. Oh, you prepaid 6 months. Oh, thank you so much for the 2 both resub then. It's been 2 months then. Right? It says 2 months. I don't know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Want to make it a game to give subs before you go live? No. 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 You know what you guys should do when I'm offline? You should use the money to get yourself a nice snack. Yeah, that's what you should do. That's what you should do. You should go to the corner store and get a nice drink and a yummy snack. Yeah. What is that? What is that? Muta, what is that emote? When she's offline, we throne. I mean, it does help. It does help. For those of you who don't know, I do have a throne where you can gift me stuff. I mostly just have stuff on there for like, if you want to gift me money so I can buy video games, because video games are expensive. And you can fund my throne addiction, Smile. If you want to. I'll be the cheerleader. I'm poor. Of course, there's absolutely no obligation, but it's greatly appreciated. But I don't ever like shill my throne ever. I posted it yesterday. They were like, I forget that you had that. I'm like, yeah, because I don't talk about it. I don't talk about it. I don't talk about it. But yeah, hello everybody. Hello. We were supposed to play Dredge today, but we ended up not doing that because we didn't finish Higurashi last stream. Hi! We didn't finish Higurashi. The last 2 chapters, I guess, or like sub-chapters rather, are like very long. Did someone say yap about showers? No. Hi, Oshi! Hello, Ritokyo-ku! Hello. Hello, Alk. I'll say hi to everybody very soon. I just realized I'm in the Higurashi section. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Because we'll switch anyway. Hi! We'll switch anyway. Kramer Cosmo, thank you so much for checking into the blood bank. Welcome in, welcome in. Higurashi, I hardly know her. Hi! Hi, Dusk. But yeah, we have to finish the last chapter of Higurashi today. I lurk, work, and behave now. Okay, good luck. Hopefully the reading stream is good for productivity. Let me take a drink of water. I drink. Okay. Yeah, we didn't finish Higurashi last time I streamed because I was warned about this, about the last 2 subchapters being really long, but I just didn't listen. But I guess they're really long. They're really long. So we'll finish it today. I need to stop yawning. I need to stop being tired. I need to stop eating snacks, and I need to stop being tired. I need to stop. I hate this. I like wanted to sleep literally all day. I wanted to sleep all day, and then I like finally got up like around like almost 10. Mind you, I normally wake up like before. I would wake up around like 5. Party too hardy with Noko. That's true. I did stay up pretty late past my bedtime to play video games with Noko. And then I stayed up a little bit longer because Dusk was playing Battlefield. Do you have SBD? What is SBD? What is that? I woke up at 7 a.m. and felt half asleep until 11 a.m. I like waking up at like 5, 6. 5 or 6 is like really good for me to wake up. Look, what? Arthur had to gush about the baseball for several pages. He had to. True. The author, sorry, author. Sleepy bitch disease. True. Silent but deadly. True. No, I don't know. Like normally, like I said, I wake up around like 5 or 6, but then I go to bed around like 8 or 9. And then yesterday I woke up, I want to say I woke up around like 8, and then I stayed up until like midnight or something like that. So it was a pretty long day for me, honestly. So it makes sense that I'm sleepy, but I don't like it. And instead of blaming the long days I've had over the last couple days, I'm gonna blame me eating Uncrustables. I'm gonna blame me eating Uncrustables. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna blame it on sugar. I'm gonna blame it on sugar. Gave up dealing with troubleshooting EA anti-cheat, just gonna wait to play this weekend. There was somebody else who was, unless that was you, talking about it in the Discord. They said that they finally disabled wallpaper engine and that got it to work. Unless that was you. Let me scroll up. Let me make sure that wasn't you. That was you? Oh, okay. Yeah. Old got that sugar hype and took me out for a 3-hour nap. Yeah. The sugar high, yeah. Real. So real, so true. It's okay, I'll fix it. I need to stop yawning! Ah! I don't want to be EP anymore. I don't want to be EP anymore. I felt really good for a while after I fasted for like a full day. And then I was doing like the 1 meal a day thing, and I was feeling pretty good on energy. And then I switched to having 2 meals, and now I feel like shit. So I don't know, man. My body's fucked. My body is poop. I waited 3 hours in queue to find out I had more issues. What? You waited through the queue and then it like still wouldn't let you play? That's so weird. That's interesting. I'm gonna say hi to everybody. Let me filter. Boom. Let me say hi to everybody. If you want me to say hi to you, go ahead and redeem hi. And I'll say hi. And then I'll say hi to everybody else on the other side as well. Pie Man got first, as always. Hi, Pie Man. Hi, Muto. Hi, Vec. Hi, Boneless. Hi, Cheen. Hi, Don Don. Hi, Silvesi. Hi, Ame. Hello, Flea. Hello, Panda. There's a ton of bully redeems. Bully redeem. Hello, Mac. Hello, Alk. Hello, Lefish. Hello, Dusk. Hello, Chair. Hello, Yun. Hello. Wait, that was a bully from Don Don. Hi, Mod. Hello? Hello, hello? Oh, why do I have this window open? I didn't mean to have that window open. Hi! Hello, okay, yes? Hello, hello? Hi, Vitor. Hi, French. Hi, Jin. Hi, Freezer. Hi, Raito. Hello. Hello, everybody. I felt so bad yesterday. We were doing the Black Rock Shooter watch-along, and Raito's internet would not let them watch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to figure out, maybe there's like a better way for me to do it. I don't know. I don't know how all the cool VTubers do their watch-alongs. I don't know how they do it to make it more accessible. I don't know. Cries. Discord was supposedly having issues yesterday also. Was it? Was it not just us? I see. Hi, Heme. Hi, Pi. They usually just run VLC. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was just streaming my VLC window. No, you're good. The Wi-Fi was doesn't agree with streams. Oh, the Wi-Fi you were in doesn't agree with streams. I see. Try 2 small meals a day. That's kind of what I already. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I already do. I mean, I could cut my meals in half, but my meals are relatively low calorie, except for my breakfast. My first meal is bibimbap, but it's oatmeal. So it's oatmeal and 2 eggs, some tofu, some carrot matchsticks, some zucchini, some cucumber, some boiled bean sprouts, some kimchi, gochujang. There's some sesame oil, so there's some fat in it. It's a higher calorie breakfast. But then for dinner, I just have a salad, like a chopped salad, like lettuce, celery, chickpea, corn. It's a Greek dressing with balsamic vinegar. So, I don't know. I could probably make them smaller, yeah. That probably might be it. Meow. So when do they cry? Pretty soon. Pretty soon. I had to go and enable it afterward, waiting in queues, still had the game modes locked. Weird. Hello, Alex. Hello. Hi. Who's crying? The Higurashi. The Higurashi are crying. They're crying. I didn't hear them today, so I couldn't get the recording of them outside of my window. Or outside of my door, rather. That's where they're the loudest. But yeah, I don't know. We were supposed to play Dread today, and I'm thinking maybe if like the Higurashi chapter isn't too long, that we can play Dredge afterwards. I'm gonna take a cough drop. I didn't make my tea today, which I probably should. Should I make tea? There should be a lighthearted omake in the vein of Kagetsu Tohya that's called Higurashi when they smile. Make tea, girl? I probably should. I also need to drink more water, admittedly. I don't know. I'm all out of whack. Like this week, well, no, even last week. I've just been so tired. I probably need to take my iron pills. That is probably why I am so tired, actually. That is probably why I'm so tired. I think I need to take my iron pills. I think I need to take my iron pills. I think I need to take my folic acid. I think I need to take my B12. I think I need to take my D3 as well. I don't go outside. I need to take vitamins again. I think that's why I'm just like so... Time for Korean barbecue? No! Let me have 1 week where I am very good about eating and I don't eat a single snack. And then we can have Korean barbecue. Wait, no, let me have 2 weeks. Let me have 2 weeks of where I'm very good and very disciplined, and then we can go have Korean barbecue. I need to reset my clock. Do we gotta do vitamin checks on your stream? I need a... Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I'm a baby! I need to be reminded about things. I need to be reminded. Tea time? Get some tea, girl. Make tea. Okay, I'm gonna go boil the water. Can you stare at me while I BRB to make tea? I'll be right back. I'm gonna go boil the water. Sorry. I'm mentally ill. Okay. My tongue hurts. I need sushi like ASAP. Oh man. I'm like not interested in food. I don't know, and I think it's because I'm eating so many snacks that like when I go to eat actual meals, I'm like, I don't actually like want to eat this, but I'm eating it because like I feel like I have to. You know? Cuz it's good to have meals at the same time every day, so I'm like, if I don't have the meal now, my body's going to get all out of whack. No one needs meals. Snacks are definitely healthy. Not the snacks I'm eating. Not the Tapatio Doritos. Oh, I need to stop eating chips. I need to stop it. I need to stop it. Parage, meds, vitamins, brekkie, checky. Okay, so the way that I used to do it and the way that I felt good was I did not eat breakfast. I ate one meal a day and it was always after stream. It was around 5 p.m. and that would be the only meal I ate. It was a relatively like not large, but it was like super protein packed, and then it had like a bunch of micronutrients as well and grains. So it was well balanced. And that would be like my one meal for the day. And honestly, I felt really good doing that. And I probably just need to do it again. Because I think what's going on is I kind of like increase the carb intake a little bit. Like even though the oatmeal's good for me technically because of the increase in fiber, it is a lot more carbs. And I don't think my body's used to it. Because I was eating so like high protein for a while. So I don't know. We'll see. I do have an issue processing carbs. I got the girly disposition. The common girly disposition. Where for some reason my balls don't work properly, and so I have to be careful with the carbs or else I get ED. I also can't eat certain vegetables like fucking broccoli and stuff like that because I have another silly issue. So food is very finicky for me. Just mask your fatigue with caffeine as your body breaks down. I wish. Honestly, so true though. Hi, Artorian. So true though, because I was craving coffee a lot. Like was it last week? It was last week, but I went to the store and they didn't have any cold brew. I don't have a coffee maker, so I can't make my own coffee. And I really like iced coffee, and I don't really know how people make cold brew. But they didn't have the jugs of cold brew that I normally buy. And so I was kind of sad. Even broccoli, that sucks, is a nice vegetable. I just have to eat it in moderation. That is the thing. I can't have, like, a lot of it. If I have too much of it, especially raw, I get eepy. My body, like, I don't know how to exactly explain it, but it's something along the lines of, like, something in the broccoli can't get processed or whatever. Or, like, I really don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. Certain vegetables just hit me like that. And then I get really eepy. Like, there's some sort of, like, there's something in the broccoli that, like, affects me and makes me sleepy. You can't eat raw broccoli. You can eat raw. You can eat broccoli raw. I can. Yeah. I can eat broccoli raw. But if I want it to affect me less, it has to be cooked. Yeah, it's weird. I don't quite know how to explain it. I've only ever had it cooked. It's really good raw. It's very crunchy. The stems are really good. I really like the stems. Very crunchy. Back when I was working, I was averaging around 900 milligrams of caffeine a day. I don't know if I ever had like a period of time where I consumed a lot of caffeine. I had a period of time where I consumed a lot of the Monster Rehabs, though. I don't know if those are bad for you or not. We gotta put a coffee maker on the throne. I don't even have counter sprays for the coffee maker. I've always wanted a drip system, like a, how do I explain it? You know, not like a coffee machine, but you got like the little glass, the glass guy, and then you put the filter in it, and then you put the water on the filter so it sticks to the glass, and then you put the grinds in, and then you pour the hot water over the grinds, and then it just kind of drips. You know, I've always wanted one of those because they're very small. They're very small. We did have space for some, like stuff we aren't using, like the cookie jar. I don't want to put a coffee maker next to the sink. I'm scared. Yeah, not like a French press. Here, let me find it. Pour over coffee. Similar to a French press. It's kind of like one of these. It's kind of like this. This one's cool because it's just like the top. But they're like this. So you get the little glass guy at the top. And usually it has like a flat bottom or something. And then you put it over the cup, but this one like holds it, so it's different. It's kind of like this. Here's another picture. Like this. You see how it's got like how it sits on top of the cup? You pour the water over it. Like this. A Chemex. Hi, Daniel. Yeah, Chemex is a brand of one of the makers of this system, but I think it's just called like a pour over system. But yeah, because they're so tiny, I could kind of like keep it in the cupboards. I just wouldn't know how to make cold brew coffee. I know cold brew is like actually brewed cold, but I guess I could just make the hot coffee and then put it in the fridge, but I think that ends up messing with the flavor. Pinterest coffee? Huh? Exactly? Is that how... Hold on. How to make cold brew. I think I have a friend who knows how. To make cold brew, closely ground your coffee beans and then mix them with cold room temperature water in a jar at a ratio of 1 to 4. 1 cup of coffee for 4 cups of water. Let the mixture steep for about 12 to 24 hours and then strain through a fine mesh strainer. Oh, that's easy. Oh. That's easy. I can do that. I have a fine mesh strainer. I just need to get the coffee in the grinder. Because I have fine ground espresso right now. That's all I've got. I can make cold brew pretty easily. Okay. That's easy to do. I like cold coffee with some like almond creamer. Ooh. Are you the KFC menu because your finger looking good? Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Dan. Getting off early today, gotta bail and fight traffic nerds. Good luck, Don. Good luck. It's very aesthetic. Ah, that's why it's called Pinterest coffee, because it's aesthetic. I just like it because it's a very small system that doesn't have to sit on my counter, and I can just put it in the cupboards when I'm not using it. Because I don't really drink coffee like that. Like, I love espresso, don't get me wrong. I really do like just like a good Americano or like a cappuccino, or sometimes I'll make like a latte. I really like espresso. I really do. But I really don't drink hot coffee that often unless I'm going out. So I don't care to make espresso at home because I just won't drink it as often because I don't really like hot drinks. So like cold brew would be something I could definitely do at home because I often drink cold drinks. If I drink coffee, I'd use a selfie coffee as a slur against brews I don't like. Tea doesn't require much. Yeah, I have tea. I just don't like tea because it's hot. And I also don't want to brew a large thing of cold tea because I honestly don't like cold tea. I can take hot tea. I don't like cold tea. Yeah, I'm weird. True. Water and tea bags is all you need. Yeah, I have tea that I drink. I usually try to drink tea in the morning for my throat before stream so that I don't sound like a chain smoker. But regardless, I end up sounding like a chain smoker. So I think my tea is ready, actually, my water. So let me be right back. Let me go grab my tea really quick. I'm back up with tea. What are we praying for? For the tea. I'm sleeping! It's my sleeping position. I'm not praying, I'm sleeping. It's my sleepy position. Come back. I got my tea. I gotta let the bag sit in there for a little bit though. Maybe I shouldn't put the cover on it. There. Oh, I need a coaster! Welcome back. Thank you. Okay. Me. Let my tea cool off. Wait, who are you? Who am I? Who are we? Well, I'm Heme. You apparently are foregoing... I can't read the rest of your name. Radio Sondi? Whatever that means. And we are donors. Together, we are donors. I hope that answers your question. Close enough. I can't read, I'm illiterate. Unfortunately, I am a product of the American education system. Well, donors, what am I donating? This guy's new here. You're donating blood. I am a vampire. Your soul? Your soul. Thank you for the blood tax. I'm wrapping my tea bags string around the handle. I don't know why I do this, because then when I want to go throw away the tea bag. It's really difficult. But it at least makes the cup look nice. The worms, the worms, the worms, the worms, the worms, the worms, the worms. The worms, the worms. Yeah. What are you guys doing anything silly, cool, amazing, interesting this weekend? The worms are back. Such a good emote. I'm really glad I added it. Dazham, thank you for checking into the blood bank. Welcome in. Is this an arson-friendly stream? Do you normally ask this many questions? I'm gonna drive 24 hours to Florida. Are you gonna go to a Buc-ee's? To do unpaid labor? Are you gonna go to a Buc-ee's? I might stop at a Buc-ee's, yeah. Can you not spam the chat? Thanks. I've never been to one? You should go to one. Besides Battlefield 6, I'm gonna start racing on Pit Skill? Pit Skill? What is that? Community-based ranked sim racing platform. Interesting. Ooh, do you have like a whole sim setup and everything like that? If I go to Buc-ee's, I'll post in the Discord. Yeah, you gotta give us a taste test or a taste review of whatever it is that you pick up at the Buc-ee's. Yeah, you gotta give us a review. Yeah, you do? Oh, that's very cool. Sorry for spamming, no worries. What's your Buc-ee's recommendation? I've never been to a Buc-ee's. I don't know. They just seem cool. Like, you know how like people in Europe are like, I want to go to a Walmart. Well, I guess like this is how like West Coast people feel about Buc-ee's when they're like only in the South. They're like, wow, I really want to go to a Buc-ee's. They seem really cool. I hear they're really big and have lots of snacks. I've never been to a Buc-ee's. I wouldn't have a recommendation. Apparently you have to get the balls. I don't know what the balls are called. When the Chupa lives vicariously through the Chatter's gas station visit. A what? A Buc-ee's. Breakfast tacos and the brisket sandwich. Yeah, I hear the brisket sandwich is the thing to do. I believe where I live, they're making a Buc-ee's. Yo, you gotta go. You gotta go. Hi, Vaughn. Welcome in. I forget what they're called. They're called, like, nuggets. Are they called beaver nuggets? I think that's what they're called. Nuggets? Let me Google search this before I'm wrong. Yes. They're called beaver nuggets. Apparently, these are really tasty. But it scares me because the first ingredient is brown sugar. So I would imagine they're extremely sweet. Extremely sweet. There is more sugar than there is, like, cornmeal. Then the cornmeal is for the actual nugget. So, like, the ratio is, like, 2 sugar to 1 cornmeal. Probably. So there is more sugar than there is nugget. More sugar than chicken? Yeah. Some also have a fresh beef jerky that's really good. Ooh. What's up? Just got back from traffic hell. It's time for the VN times. It's time! I'm glad you survived traffic. Might be nugget form of beaver tails. I wonder if Buc-ee's had enough different types of food for a 3-course meal. Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure. You gotta try the beaver nuggets, though. Just don't die and get diabetes. Don't get diabetes. Don't die of diabetes. Diabetes. Maybe have like 3 and then give the rest to your friend. They kind of taste like Kettle Corn's caramel popcorn, but crunchy. Is Kettle Corn not crunchy? I think Kettle Corn's kind of crunchy. I guess it's crunchier because there's more sugar. Diabetes or kidney stones. Wait, you can get kidney stones from sugar? I thought you only got kidney stones from salt. Can you get kidney stones from sugar? Kidney Stone Joe. WebMD. Surely this is the link. There is apparently a link between type 2 diabetes and kidney stones. Okay, so that probably answers my question. Damn! So the sugar like piles up in your kidneys? That's kind of scary. Kidney stones are calcium deposits. Oh. That's scary. I don't know, I've never had kidney stones before. Wait, so like, okay, so I know how like when men have to pass a kidney stone, it's quite uncomfortable. Right? Because it's gotta go through your urethra. For women, when they have to pass kidney stones, is it just as painful? One of my high school chem teachers had a kidney stone. He described it as the single most painful thing he'd ever gone to, and he served in Vietnam. Go through your urethra. I'm sure it's still extremely painful. I've never heard of women talking about their kidney stones. I've only heard of the horror stories from the men. I heard it's worse for women because the tubes are similar? Or smaller. Really? Really? It's less painful because it's a shorter path, but if the stone is big enough, yes. That's scary. That's scary. Can one of my female viewers get a kidney stone and tell me what it's like? I've never read a female account of passing a kidney stone. Can one of the 5 to 8% of women in my chat, which is probably like 1 or 2 individuals, please get a kidney stone and report back to me? Let me see if my tea is not going to burn me. You should get a kidney stone now! You're probably asking a lot there. Yeah, probably. Probably don't do that. I do wish good health upon everybody. I wouldn't want anybody to consume copious amounts of sugar and salt and then get calcium deposits and then have to pee them out. I thought only YouTube gives you viewer analysis like that. It does. It does. But I would assume it's only the same on Twitch. For science. Exactly. For science. On it, boss. Getting the Diet Coke out now. Wait, but Diet Coke doesn't... Can you get kidney stones from Diet Soda? I'm learning so much today from you guys. You can get kidney stones from Diet Soda? There's no sugar. I know there's a substitute that does come in granules, but I would assume... There's potassium? I don't know what I'm trying to science in my head right now, but you can get kidney stones from Diet Soda. My friend is 22 and got a small one. He drinks Dr. Pepper religiously, though. Somebody tell that one to Dusk. There's salts. Right! The salt! I forgot. From the other sediments. I forgot about the salts. Yeah. This streamer hates female viewers and wishes they get kidney stones. Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper. I forgot about the salt. Oh my god, why does this kind of taste like banana? My tea kind of tastes like banana. That's interesting. It's not banana. It is it's kava with Ninjom's like herbal cough medicine. It has loquat and lemon, I think. But it tastes like banana. That's bananas. This shit is bananas. P-A-N-A-N-A-S. Brooke Star Demon, thank you so much for checking in the blood bank. Welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. It actually tastes very good. I don't normally like bananas. How do you... Okay, I have another question for you guys. Hold on. Banana ripeness scale. Hi, Finch. I'm curious. I'm curious here. Okay. I have a question. Hi, Lati. How do you guys like your bananas? Do you like them underripe, barely ripe, ripe, very ripe, or overripe? Ripe is not a real word. Ripe, ripe, ripe to very ripe, yellow. Which of the yellow? Anywhere between 2 and 4. 3 to 4. I'm not picky. Barely ripe. Okay. Very ripe. Very ripe or very ripe. Overripe banana is banana. Overripe is banana bread. True. Ripe? I'm boring? That's not boring. That's normal. Barely ripe to very ripe. Ripe is not a word anymore. I've said ripe so much. I am a barely ripe individual. Once it starts becoming ripe and it forms the brown bits on it, I don't want it anymore. It's too sweet at that point. I can't eat it. I have to have it barely ripe. I have to have it barely ripe. This is interesting. So, yes, the more ripe it gets, the more sugar it has. Because an underripe banana has 3.2 grams of sugar in a 100-gram banana. And then a barely ripe banana, 100 grams, has 12 grams of sugar. It has the most magnesium in it. 3 times as much potassium in an underripe banana. Dang. Oh, but underripe bananas have a lot of fiber in them. That's interesting. And then we get to ripe, very ripe, and overripe. That's interesting. Better absorbed by the body for ripe. Contains potassium, vitamin C, vitamin B6, and dietary fiber. Very ripe can increase blood glucose levels rapidly. Increases the level of hemoglobin. This might be something I need. I might need to start eating very ripe bananas. I can't though. They're too sweet. Overripe is the sweetest, contain the most fructose and glucose, may contain contain many antioxidants. And that's nice. But yeah, overripe bananas, typically at that point it's banana bread. I'd go for very ripe. Sometimes ripe is still too sour. I like the sour. What do you do if your banana is too ripe? I give it to my bunny when I had a bunny. I don't buy bananas anymore. I don't buy bananas very often because, yeah, I only like them when they're barely ripe. I buy barely ripe and underripe so they don't go bad and just let them ripen in my kitchen. Yeah, that's smart. Increase the hemoglobin. The hemoglobin. Banana bread. Yeah. I've never been the biggest fan of banana bread. I remember one time somebody got in a really big argument with me about this on Twitter. Because we did the food tier list and I put banana bread very low. And they were like, how do you not like banana bread? It's too sweet for me. Adjust the amount of sugar. You don't understand. Even just a ripe banana is too sugary for me. They got really passionate about it. They were very upset that I didn't like banana bread. I usually mix bananas into muesli. If I'm eating one, as I prefer 2 underripe 2. That's a good idea. You like the young ones? Pause. Release the Heme goblin. Yeah, I don't know why they got so what's the word, passionate about me not liking banana bread, but they were just like, they just could not fathom that I didn't like it. And it's just like, it's just too sweet. Put less sugar in it. I think bananas themselves are too sweet. If I think baseline a banana is too sweet, then making it into bread where you add extra sugar is still gonna make it too sweet. Even if you make it bread with no sugar, it's still gonna be too sweet because the banana's in it. Sorry. What do you think of banana chips? I do like banana chips, but again, they're too sweet. I can't have too many of them. I'll get a headache. I can have like maybe a handful. But I do really like them. I like the texture. Very crunchy. I like banana chips. They're spicy banana chips? I want to try that. I've always wanted to try like tahini or chamoy on fruit. I've never done it yet. On like mangoes or pineapples or literally anything. Watermelon. Okay, I know I've told you guys this before that I'm not like the biggest salt fan, but this summer I've been a really big enjoyer of salted watermelon. Anyway, I've been a big fan of salted watermelon. Do you ever make homemade chips with leftover potato skins? No, because I usually eat the potato skin on the potato. Salted watermelon is so tasty. It really is, honestly. Banana chili oil chips? What? Salted watermelon feels too indulgent to me? Wait, what do you mean by that? I have banana trees in my yard, so free bananas. Hey, yo, infinite banana hack. I've been eating way too much sugar recently. Headache go. Yeah. Gotta drink more water. Drink more water. Consume less sugar. Enjoy your lyric. Dude, what is that person's problem? The account was created yesterday. Interesting individual. Anyway, my tea is ready, so I think it's time. I don't know. They're marked as a ban-evader. They are. Imagine. Watermelon feels super indulgent for some reason. Salted watermelon has a stronger flavor, so it feels more indulgent. Not sure if that makes sense. It doesn't really make sense to me because I'm trying to understand how it feels indulgent. Because to me, indulgent is like really rich or like super sugary. But watermelon kind of tastes like water. So then when you put sugar on it, you can... salt on it, sorry. When you put salt on it, then the sugar comes out. The Blood Lord, welcome in. Thank you so much for checking into the blood bank. Interesting. But yeah, my tea is ready, so we can probably start Higurashi. Let me boot her up. Might be a taste bud skill issue on my end. The balance, maybe. I just made this account because I'm too important to wait for Twitch. I just made this account because I'm too impatient to wait for Twitch name changes, so I moved my stuff to here. Hi! Between sugary and salty. Ooh, okay, that can make sense. Heme! Hi, Tracker! Hello! That makes sense, That makes sense. Hello! Okay. Let me boot up Higurashi. I think ads are gonna start fairly soon. Hold on. Let me see. No, we gotta yap for a little bit longer. We gotta yap a little bit longer, I think we gotta yap a little bit longer. Are we finishing Higurashi? Yes, we are gonna do that today. I'm waiting for the ads to start so that I could go BRB. But they're gonna start in like I would say like 6 minutes or so. Usually when they start. Yeah, we didn't get to finish Higurashi last time because the 11th subchapter was actually fairly long. Oh! I don't know if I can actually talk about this here. if I can talk about this here. How does anybody have any knowledge about like how strict Twitch is about talking about other streaming platforms? Hi, Sakai. Oh, I saw you said yesterday in Nuko's chat reading that you followed. Thank you so much. I just making a Discord announcement. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just say I'll make a Twitter and a Discord announcement later. But I will be streaming. Hi Thunder. I will be streaming visual novels and more sillier games that I probably can't play on Twitch somewhere else. I will let you guys know in the Discord. So if you want to join, there is the link. There is the link. There is the link. I'll put an announcement in the announcement channels. Such as Class of 09? No, Class of 09 is definitely Twitch safe. I was thinking more like Honey Pop and Nekopara. Even though you could stream Nekopara on Twitch, I just am scared to do it. Stuff like that. And other like visual novels. Gunner arc? Ugh. You guys, what did we say about Gunner Erasure? What did we say about Gunner Erasure? What did we say about this? Stop erasing the Gooners. No, stop erasing the Gooners by saying that anytime somebody wants to partake in some sort of media without doing any mechanical movements, stop calling it gooning. That is total Gooner erasure. That is Gooner erasure. I am simply curious. I am simply curious and I would like to have a little giggle. That is all. That is all. Do not erase the Gooners. Okay? They are valid. And they deserve to wear their title brightly and to not be washed out by normie individual like myself. Who are not, well, okay, I wouldn't call myself a normie. But in the Gooner realm, if you put me in a room of Gooners, I would at that point be a normie. I'm also a very curious person. There is a big difference between playing a game for the funny and jorking my hog. There's a big difference. Anyway, ads are about to run. Let me be your bee. I'll come back and then we'll finish the rest. Your bee. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, I have phone verification on, but also doesn't Discord make you guys verify your phone number? Anyway? Isn't that normal? Let me check something. Access. Sugar rules. Can I adjust that? Safety setup. I don't think so. Why verify when I can cry? Please laugh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like when you make a Discord account, it makes you verify your phone number. Because then if you try to make another account, and you can use the same phone number on that account, but it will remove it from the other account. And then when you try to log back into that account, it'll make you verify their phone number again. And then it will remove it from the other account and apply it to the new account. But then if you try to log into the old account, like, you get what I'm saying? I made Discord accounts before they did that. Oh. They didn't, like, apply it to all accounts? I see. I didn't know that. It's usually on by default. The phone verification. Safety setup. Raid protection. Spam protection. Auto mod. Both of my main and my alt have never required phone number. I don't even know where I would go to like turn that off because it's always on by default. Server member roles invites. Wait, no, hold on. PPA. I just gave you a role. Tell me if you can view the Discord. I just gave you a role. Yes, so the issue wasn't your phone verification. The issue is that you need to claim the donor role. You need to claim the donor role. You have to read the rules, silly, when you get in there. You have to read the rules. And then it tells you how to authenticate yourself to view the server. So anybody who joins, and if you can't see channels, there should be in the announcements, and then there should be like a rules thing right above it. And so you have to read the rules, and then you have to claim your role. You don't have to read the rules, but it does. It's like it's literally. It's basically like. It's kind of like a bot filter as well. Because sometimes people, like, bots will join and not claim any roles. And sometimes what some people do is they put, like, a bot buster role in there. That, like, oh, if you claim this role, you'll automatically be banned. But I'm severely afraid because there is quite a few people who don't read that they have to claim the donor role in order to see the other channels. That I fear that the opposite may happen, where people claim every role while not being a bot, and then they get themselves banned. You don't instantly join servers and lurk the Not Safe for Work or music channel? Angus, I'm gonna ask you, after watching me, as long as you have, do I seem like the individual to lurk in a Not Safe for Work channel? None of us can read, sorry, chat reflects the streamer. Yes? Raiden, you've only been here a day. You have only been here a day, my sweet summer child. I am not a gooning queen. I know it's okay, but I am not one of those. Do not put that on me. I am not one of them. It is okay, but it is not me. That is not me, sorry. Anyway, we're gonna finish Higurashi today. We're going to continue. And we're on chapter 12. On chapter 12. Oh yeah, what's that redeem? Go ahead, redeem it. You tell me what that is. Go ahead, redeem it. Oh wait. Go ahead. Goodbye. There you go. Raiden has now had their first experience. Rena time! Let's go! Let's go! Rena time! Yeah. Not me. Not me. So sorry to all the males out there. I am not your perverted gooner VTuber. That is not me. If that's what you're looking for, that's not me. Not me. Alright. I'm not sure how long this chapter is gonna go, because like I said, I don't know how much of the anime, like how this kind of works. Bluechie, welcome and thank you for checking into the blood bank. I'm not sure if like the anime only covers chapter 1. If so, then we're getting pretty close to the end. Or if like the anime is multiple chapters. I don't know. I feel like it's only chapter 1. But we will see. We will see. We will see. We will see. Pervs out? No, I don't care like if you are yourself like a pervert. Because there are many girls that I am friends with who are self-proclaimed perverts or have like, you know, like pervy personalities. Or like OG-sans or something like that. And that's fine. I don't care. It's just that's not me. That's not me. I watched the anime, but I don't know what I can say about it without spoiling anything. I mean, I've watched the anime. I know. I'm just wondering. I'm just curious if like the anime only covers chapter 1. Chad Hime is very asexual. For lack of better terms, yeah, that's probably the way to put it. I don't know. I don't know. It's very difficult to say. Very difficult to say. I don't know if I would say I am asexual, but I don't understand consuming porn. I've never been curious about it. I don't care about it. And like in terms of like art, like I can look at like Nazi for work art, but it's always from like an objective standpoint. I just think it looks cool. But I'm not cranking my hog over it. You know? I kind of just look at it and I move on. That's it. Anyway. I guess I'd be lying if I said I didn't get any sleep. I tried to stay awake all night, but there were definitely gaps in my memory. So we should probably recap what happened last time. So Keiichi once again bailed on his gamer club duties. He has acquired himself a bat and has tried to swindle his friends. Not swindle, but he has started lying to his friends, saying that he's going to join the baseball team, but he's really holding the bat for self-defense. He leaves. Rena ends up following him home, and he catches her, and then he scares her off eventually. But she warns him. She's like, "You're going through the same motions as Satoshi did." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Whatever you do, don't transfer. Whatever you do, don't transfer." And so he went home. His parents went on a trip to Tokyo for a business trip. So he's home all alone. And Rena shows up. And Rena says that he brought him food. And he's like, "Why? I don't need this. My mom's home. She's making food for me. I don't need this." And she's like, No, Keiichi. I know your parents aren't home. Also, I know you're going to eat cup ramen because I followed you at the market where you bought all of the cup noodle. I know. And so he freaked out, locked her outside. He was on the phone with Oishi-san. And then he sees Rena. She's outside still. in the rain. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And so it kind of ends there. Talon, welcome in. Bluchi, welcome in. Welcome in. Self-defense is very important. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. Very important. So that's where we are now. Unsubscribed, unfollowed, blocked, and reported for bamboozling me. I love getting timed out for no reason. Shut up, Panda! She's just quirky and socially awkward stalker. Nothing sus about her smudge. She's a pure maiden. She would do nothing wrong. I guess I'd be lying if I said I didn't get any sleep. I tried to stay awake all night, but there were definitely gaps in my memory. I guess I kept nodding off and jerking awake in the panic all night. I spent all night hugging the metal bat and sat on top of the futon I used to barricade my door. Dang! Dang! Waiting, watching, just in case someone tried to break in through my window. If I left this spot, someone would break through the door, sending the futon flying and attack me. But if I stopped watching the window, someone would break through the glass and attack me. I tried telling myself I was just being paranoid, but I couldn't sleep. The thought of being so vulnerable scared the living daylights out of me. If sleep meant taking that risk, I didn't need it. It was so much better just to stay awake. At some point during the endless cycle of nodding off and jolting awake, light began to shine outside. But that was it. It wasn't so much the morning as it was just sun simply having risen. I snuck a peek out through the curtains. Rena was gone. She left. I couldn't see her anywhere no matter how hard I looked. Finally, I could breathe a deep sigh of relief. The night was finally over. What if she's inside? You can't be so sure. She's probably inside. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tired, but I didn't feel like sleeping at the moment. Still had time, but I needed to make my own breakfast, so I better get started soon. Skipping school was also an option. I would honestly skip school at that point. Hide in the walls. She's in the vents. She's venting. I honestly would skip school if I didn't get enough sleep. There's no point. I wouldn't learn anything. Like, really, there's no point. Your brain is so tired, you wouldn't absorb any of the knowledge, so why would you why would you go to school? It doesn't make any sense. For the sake of attendance? I think that's dumb. I would stay home. With my mom gone, it'd be easy to play hooky. Honestly, I debated it. The risk involved in leaving my house was incalculable. So staying holed up here was probably the safest option. Hey yo, hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having a good one too, 2D. It's not like you learned much at school anyway. Also true! But staying here wouldn't solve anything. Oishi-san wouldn't help me without cold, hard evidence. Neither he nor my parents. So unless I found some sort of proof, these relentless nights would never end. Stretched my body, tilted my head back, and closed my eyes, just like I did every morning. Hi, Firo! I regulated my breathing and regained my senses. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. Let's go to school. Let's wait until they set their trap for me. But that didn't mean I was going to twiddle my thumbs. I needed to avoid that trap and secure irrefutable evidence. Take note of the plates of any car that drives by. If I see someone suspicious, check their clothes and face. I wasn't just protecting myself, I was preparing myself to turn their attack against them and retaliate. The tension was similar to when two samurai were both aiming to slay each other, with a single motion as they drew their katanas. Let me drink some tea. He's so paranoid. I don't know how he could live with like this. I would go absolutely insane. I would be like flinching at everything. I would be suspicious of literally everything. I was not at a disadvantage. I would have a chance to retaliate. I finally felt a bit of courage growing in my chest. All right, let's go to school. Oh, he's gonna go to school. He's so tired. I tightened my grip on Satoshi's bat. He was the only partner I could count on. Satoshi, please lend me your strength, and then trust your dying regrets to me, since you were probably murdered. Why would he say that? Why would he say that? I'd pay attention to school if I could learn something I wanted to learn and pursue. I feel you on that. I feel you. Yeah. That's why some people like college. Yeah, very true. Gen Ed, though. I'll make sure I dispel them. With renewed resolve, I checked the clock. It was still early. Of course, I was going to school by myself today. If I didn't want to run into Rena or Mion, I needed to leave now. The shattered fragments of the cupboard were still strewn all over the entryway. Right. I meant to clean that up last night, but never got around to it with the phone call and everything. Your mom is going to get the chancla. And she's going to beat your booty. You think you're scared of Rena and Mion, bro. Mother's wrath is relentless. If my parents came back and saw this while I was at school, I would never hear the end of it. Still, I'd be wasting time if I cleaned it up now, and considering what would happen if I ran into Rena or Mion. It wouldn't be too late to clean it up after I got home. Making extra certain that the doors were locked, I left the house. My dad with a leather belt. No! My uniform was still covered in mud from yesterday, so I left it in the washer. Today I was going to school in a tracksuit. By wearing a different outfit this morning, my mind was forced to accept that today was different from yesterday. I had a hunch. Today might be the day I get killed. What a thought! Keep your guard up, Keiichi Meibara. The only one who gets to decide if today is my last is mine. Flexing emoji, stay strong. Stay strong. Let's go, we're finally dying! No! Oh, he's practicing his swings again. I spent the morning practicing my swing like it was my natural routine. After a while, Rena arrived at school. Our eyes met, but we said nothing. Rena said nothing about last night, as if it never happened. But I could see that those events were real by the wounds carved into her fingers. Oh, I forget the part where he squished her fingers in the door. Anyone may be a samurai and Keiichi is ready to cut them down, but his mother is the shogun who can force him to commit Sudoku. Scary. I just heard her telling Satoko and the others that the bandages were from hurting herself in the kitchen. Though, it wasn't like it bothered me. The details that Oishi-san shared about Rena's incident before her transfer played vividly in my mind. Now that I knew about it, I couldn't even dream of Rena as a cute girl. Or a cute, ideal girl. You can't? I could think of Rena as a cute girl after imagining her smashing windows with a bat. Kei-chan, I see you're still aiming for the nationals. It was Mion. I had already sensed her approach, so I wasn't that surprised. Oh, Mion. If you understand, then leave me alone. I'm busy practicing. I gave her a curt reply without my usual jokes. Even I gave the bat an even longer swing. Oh, then I gave the bat an even longer swing, tactfully keeping Mion from getting any closer. Hey, Kei-chan, take it easy. I think Mion got the message, but she still urged me to give it a rest. Homeroom's not that far off, is it? Just let me finish practicing. I swung the bat even harder as a sign of my refusal. Kei-chan, when did you get into baseball? Just recently. Recently? You mean yesterday? Don't ask if you already know. Dang! Oh dear. That's a very unsportsmanlike reply. You're distracting me. Go away. I ignored Mion and kept swinging. I don't like how she's just there smiling. Normally she'd get mad or bored and leave if someone gave her the cold shoulder like this. Yeah, like why isn't she reacting at all? Mion just stood there waiting patiently for me to stop swinging. I didn't sense any hostility, but we were at school in plain view. I doubt she'd suddenly attack me here. Or was that too naive? Still, I was starting to get tired. Maybe it wouldn't be so hard to take a break and hear her out. You need me for something, right? What is it? Sweat poured from me as I stopped swinging. I noticed my shoulders were heaving as I breathed. I cursed my lack of exercise. At this rate, I might not be able to move as needed when the time came. I should probably keep practicing my swings to build stamina in addition to the excuse for carrying the bat around with me. Well, it's nothing important. If you're tired, I can ask again later. Now is fine. I'm only dealing with you right now because I judged the situation to be saved. He's starting his villain arc? He really is. He truly is. Talking to you alone and away from others? That's out of the question. Well, Mion was uncharacteristically trying to choose her words. But unlike Oishi-san, it didn't look like she was going to talk about something I'd rather not hear. Mion was puzzled, trying to find the right thing to say. but she gave a hearty laugh to break herself out of that mire. This old man's just no good at this stuff. Having poor vocabulary hurts. What's this all of a sudden? If you have something to say, just say it. Stop it. Stop that swinging. She cut straight to the point. Her request was so frank, I didn't understand it for a moment. I had already stopped swinging to listen to her. Hadn't I? I just stopped, didn't I? That's not what I meant. I want today to be the last day you swing that bat. I'm sorry. It took me some time to understand what she was asking for. What? What's wrong with swinging a bat? Why? It's none of your business, is it? I'm not bothering anyone. Am I? You are. Mian said it flat out. This didn't make any sense, and that was really irritating. Why, when did I bother anybody? Mian was at a loss for words, but she finally made up her mind and spoke. Though she stuttered as she said it. Because, Kei-chan, that's someone else's bat. You shouldn't borrow it without permission. It was left behind by a student who transferred, right? I'm just borrowing it until he comes back for it. Yeah. He transferred. Mian grew uncharacteristically flustered. They made it all too clear that his transfer was a lie. But strange, isn't it? For the older brother to transfer by himself, while his little sister stayed behind. Mian couldn't hide her reaction as my words shook her up. That's right, that is supposed to be her older brother, right? Kei-chan, you knew? Satoshi Hojo. Satoko's older brother, right? Oh, sorry, yeah, Satoko's older brother. The one demoned away last year, unable to respond to that. Mian fell silent. Rena asked the same thing. Why did you start swinging that bat? She told me Satoshi did the same thing, practicing his swings, right before he went missing. ... So is this some kind of omen for Oyashida-sama's curse? Shh! Mian panicked and looked around. Please, Kei-chan, don't mention Oyashida-sama so recklessly. I don't believe in him, but the others very much do. Rena especially. Dangerously so. Anyway, you're scaring everyone. If you're just fooling around, then stop it. You have to stop acting like Satoshi. I was the one who was scared. Who do I have to thank for taking up this bat in the first place? But it still unsettled me knowing that my actions were overlapping with Satoshi's. It would be one thing if someone suggested it, but I thought I was making my own decisions. I'll say this now. I don't know anything about Satoshi. After all, you didn't tell me anything about him. But we didn't mean to hide it. You were hiding the incidents that happen every year, weren't you? That's because we didn't want to, You didn't want to scare me? That's your reason for leaving me out? No, we didn't mean to. Mian, I asked you directly if something happened at the dam, didn't I? And you told me nothing happened. When someone was dismembered and murdered, you lied to me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to lie to you. Friends don't hide things from each other, right? Isn't that right? Then you all aren't my friends. Kei-chan, I had to cough. Hold on one sec. Okay. Kei-chan, Mian looked helpless and flustered. I was imagining the tears in her eyes. I never could have imagined Mian acting like this. Oh, by the way, those get well mochi you brought the other day, they were good. I thought I was going to bleed. Who did it? You or Rena? Me. Oh! Wait, so she was the one who put the needle in the mochi? She admitted to it so easily. I couldn't help but be surprised at how easy that was. You could have killed me. How could you do that to a friend? But it was just a little prank. That is not a prank. Uni! Thank you for the hydrate. Teehee, haha. I put the needle in the baked good, so you couldn't find it, and then you would eat it and swallow it. Haha, so funny. Haha. Thank you for that. Mian gave me a wry smile mixed with confusion, causing even more anger to well up inside of me. You think that was a prank? I grabbed Mian by the collar and lifted her up. That wasn't the same as putting Tabasco sauce in a piece of mochi. Is he tall enough to do this? I feel like Mian's the tallest out of everyone. It was a needle, a sewing needle. If I had swallowed that and it lodged in my throat, what did she think would happen? Mion's face froze as her body rattled in fear. This wasn't the Mion Sonozaki I knew anymore. Anyways, you're not my friend. There's no reason for me to listen to someone who's not my friend. That's the equivalent of putting rocks in snowballs. Yeah! A little trolling. I jest. Terrifying to even think about a needle in your food? Yeah. So just leave me alone for a while. Got it? Mion wasn't replying anymore. It won't be that easy to erase me, you know. The cops have been onto you from the start. So, don't think you can make me disappear like you did Satoshi. I said it clearly. This was my declaration of war. I think you guys are suspects in the previous incidents, too. I also know you've spent a lot of time with the cops ever since that anti-dam movement. Don't think you can hide it from me. Got that? How did you know? Mion stood there with a dumbstruck look on her face. That was when I heard the principal ringing the bell for school. It was time for morning homeroom. Let's go. The class representative needs to be there, right? At that moment, for the first time, I realized Mion was sobbing as tears ran down her cheeks. Tim, thank you so much for checking into the blood bank. Welcome in. Mion's crying! You're so mean, Kei-chan. How is he the one who's mean when they quite literally tried to kill him? You're so mean! You're so mean! How could you, even though I tried to kill you? Ah! Yeah, okay. Me. I wanted to console her, but I shut my mouth. I would not console her at this point. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I had no need to feel guilty. I'm going. Don't be late for homeroom. I left Mion, still shaking, as I turned around to head for the entrance. I had no idea how troubling it was to make a girl cry. If a girl wants to kill you, let her! Behind my back, I could hear her muttering. It was a faint mutter as she was speaking to herself. What was she saying? Was she saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry? So that's how it is. Huh? She wasn't saying it to anyone. It was Mion talking to herself. But it was a sobbing voice that had a kind of giddy cursing tone. I inadvertently stopped and turned back towards her. So it was that bastard? He leaked it all to Kei-chan. She balled up her fists as her tears continued to rain down. She glared at a spot on the ground with a terrifying yet smiling face, cursing. Did you think the sleigh in Yas, Queen Sleigh, was figurative? Oh, my bad. My misunderstanding. True. Slay. Slay your enemies! A chill ran down my spine from that demonic expression. This transformation. Mion's transformation was different from Rena's. I should have killed him back then. He forgot the mercy I showed him just because he was going to retire this year. Retiring this year. Was she talking about Oishi-san? Damn it. Damn it. Going to kill that damn old man. Ah! It felt like the air itself had begun distorting. With Mion at the center, the world had begun to twist and spiral, bending, whirling. This was the first time I'd experienced such a visage. Scary woman. I feel like they kept him in the dark not to keep him clueless, but for the fear the same thing that happened to Satoshi would happen to Kei-chan. Fear of losing a good friend. That's quite possible. That is quite possible. Rise! Attention! Mion made up an excuse for her red eyes by saying there was something wrong with her contacts. After that, neither Rena nor Mion spoke to me for the rest of the day. Neither Satoko nor Rika-chan looked me in the eye. Strangely, I didn't feel hurt. Everything had just went back to the way it was. The month since I transferred in had almost too much fun. The month since I transferred in had been almost too much fun. That was all. School was supposed to be something like this to begin with. I should have disliked that feeling, but today it felt oddly refreshing. The trolls. The bell rung, sounding the end of the monotonous school day, which had felt so tense yet so dull. Since it would cause a lot of unpleasant memories if they asked me to join into the club activities, I promptly started preparing to go home without even looking at them. I stuffed the contents of my desk into my bag, wrapped my hand around Satoshi's now familiar bat, and began heading towards the entrance. Dang, they're not even gonna stop him this time. Wait, what is that word? What is asaled? Huh? I've never seen this word before. Assailed. I was assailed by both the exhausting relief that nothing had happened today and the tiring possibility of the same thing repeating tomorrow, like fell upon. Assailed. Ah, thank you. But deep down inside me, fear beneath, in the recesses of my heart, aching, I knew this would be the last day of the cycle. What are you gonna do? Mr. Keiichi Meibar, what do you mean it's the last day of the cycle? I couldn't tell how the ending would be. Whether it would end as I wished it to end, or if it would end as I hoped it wouldn't. Regardless, in my current state, there was something more important than how things would end. There was something I wanted to know. Keiichi, no spoilers! Why did I have to be killed? How did it come to this? Why? For what purpose? The sunlight was relentless. The sun, the heat, even the air. They wouldn't give me my answers. Or could it be that the cries of the Higurashi were desperately trying to tell me something? Somewhere, mixed in with their shrieks, Tomitake-san and Satoshi were also probably trying to tell me something. I simply haven't been able to realize it yet. When do I realize it? I wonder if it would be amongst the Higurashi fruitlessly crying to the next victim? Glancing down at my feet, I saw Higurashi on its back, spasming weakly. No, you have to save it! Please! There was still much of the summer left, yet this one was already chirping its last song. I couldn't tell what it was saying, no matter how hard I listened, but I had to try. I had to try to listen to what it was desperately trying to tell me. I'm kind of scared now that the Higurashi stopped. At that moment, the shrills of the Higurashi ceased all at once. I don't like that. As if they had huddled together, fearing that the person who'd brought them to their dreadful fate had arrived. There was no mistaking it. A presence was approaching. The sound of footsteps was almost non-existent. If the Higurashi hadn't warned me by ending their chirping, I wouldn't have noticed. That's so true, because anytime I walk outside, even if I'm really quiet, the Higurashi, stop. Or the cicadas, rather. The cicadas, stop chirping as loud. It's like they know. They know. My exhaustion left me in a heartbeat. In its place was a rush of adrenaline that sharpened all of my senses. I was just barely able to hold back that creeping, suffocating feeling of horror. It wasn't something I could hold back for long. But in this moment when I needed to be razor sharp, I was able to retain my composure. I wasn't going to shout like I did yesterday. I hid myself calmly amongst the trees, waited for my pursuer's shadow. Could I get them to pass by me? No. Since I was able to hear their footsteps, they were probably able to hear mine. They might have already been able to tell that I'd hidden myself and was holding my breath. The person tailing me, was it Rena? Just like yesterday. There's a tree nearby where birds nest every year. You can hear the chicks chirping loudly. Then they just fall silent when you get close. Oh, that's kind of cute. That means you're not alone and there's an apex predator nearby. Joke's on you. I am the apex predator. If it was Rena, I wouldn't hold back. I could just yell at her and make her go ahead like yesterday. If it wasn't Rena, it would depend on how they acted, I guess. The footsteps, ambled closer. I swallowed, wiped my clammy hands on my pants, and readjusted the grip on the bat. I could tell that the fear that I had beaten back once was now waiting for another opening to come at me. Who could it be? I peeked out from behind a tree at the other person following me. My imagination hadn't led me astray. It was Rena. There was a bit of relief as I realized it was someone I knew, but that feeling left me in an instant. This wasn't the same Rena that I knew. Uh-oh. You get to feel what true reason for anxiety and adrenaline is. Her eyes were dark and lifeless, but her mouth appeared as if it was carved into a crescent. Yes, it looked like she was grinning slightly. And in her right hand was an axe? Yo, what? I hid myself behind the tree once again and recalled the unbelievable sight I just saw. What was that just now? The embodiment of terror? Laid bare? Baseball. Practicing my swing. There were tons of excuses for me to be carrying a bat, but for the axe? There was no excuse for that. An axe, just like that? Keiichi-kun, are you playing hide and seek? I wonder. She just wants to go back to the dump site, and she found the Jollibee mascot, and she thinks it's so cute, and she wants help digging it up. That's why she has the axe. My heart was pounding, hard enough that I had trouble breathing. What little composure I had been able to hold on to was now crushed. In this place, cold sweat gushed forth, covering my entire body, letting me know precisely what kind of emotion had taken hold. Nodders. She doesn't have central heating and needs to chop firewood on the way home in the summer. Exactly. Not good. I wasn't able to hide myself completely. She already knew I was there. Were you trying to scare me, I wonder? I decided that it would be better to reveal myself now, since there was still space between us, than to allow Rena to come any closer. I adjusted my grip on the bat again, readied myself mentally, and stepped out from behind the tree. I found you, Keiichi-kun. Rena was pleased that she found me, eliciting a mysterious giggle. Her mouth was smiling, but her eyes told me she was displeased by the fact that I had been hiding. Those eyes, they were just so empty. My legs began to quiver. Ugh, not good. In the pit of my stomach, some sort of vicious hot and cold substance began spreading around. Is he pissing himself? If I allowed it, that substance would slip into my bloodstream and undoubtedly freeze all of my organs in my body. Oh. Not good. I'd be devoured by Rena at this rate. Strike back. Don't lose. What is it? I blustered, hiding behind my bravo. But Rena didn't flinch one bit. Just the same as Keiichi-kun. I'm heading home. Then what about the axe? Then what about the bat you're holding? I'm practicing my swing. Then I'm treasure hunting. Rena gave a flippant explanation as to why she had such a fearsome weapon. I mean, she's got a point. If this was Game of Thrones, he'd be shitting right now. Swallowed icy hot rookie mistake. Fight or flight time. She's got a point. Treasure hunting. At the treasure mountain near the dam site, I found a new cute thing. I told you! So I needed this to dig it out. But how could I believe that? You wouldn't believe it, would you? Rena's laugh was obviously very strange. I'd seen Rena's transformation many times before, but the one today was completely different. Like her mischievous tone and the shrewd glint in her eyes, it wasn't something that was roundabout. I'm not sure what to say. It was just so obvious. Wait, Keiichi-kun. Rena didn't stop walking, even as she let out that eerie laugh. Yeah, she's just searching for cute stuff and parts. Whenever Rena got too close to me, I would scurry away and turn back towards her. The cycle repeated over and over. No matter how you looked at it, I was being chased by Rena and was trying to escape. Don't follow me! I can't do that. My house is this way, after all. When I met with Rena on this road yesterday, she cowered and trembled as she followed my commands. But today was different. Rena didn't show a hint of, trepidation? Actually, wasn't I the one who was cowering? If the way home for Rena and me was the same, that's fine. I'd just change my route. It'd work out, wouldn't it? I turned onto a side street I'd never been and knew little about. But Rena saw me do it and followed me while laughing. Why? Why? Aren't you going home? Then just go home down the street you normally do. Why? Why you follow me down this weird little side road? Those thoughts screamed in my head, eventually spilling out of my mouth. Why are you following me? The tone of my voice had already tinged with terror. Because I want to talk to Kichikun. Kichikun wants to talk to Rena too, doesn't he? Doesn't he? I don't want to talk about anything with you. That's a lie, isn't it? There's something you want to ask me about, isn't there? Not at all. I have nothing to talk to you about. That's a lie, isn't it? It's not a lie. Lies! Rena's scream echoed, startling some nearby birds into flight. I cringed in fear. The only other thing I could do was increase my pace. Let's talk, Keiichi-kun. Talk. Talk. Why was I running down this unfamiliar deserted street? Does Keiichi-kun have something he's worried about? Nothing at all. I'm not worried about anything. Lies! Even though I was running, even though Rena was walking, why wasn't I getting any further away? I know. I really do know. You're scared, aren't you, Keiichi-kun? I'm not scared. I'm not scared of anything. Lies! My breathing grew heavy, and it felt like my legs were giving out from beneath me. Rena wasn't even breaking a sweat. I'll listen. This time I'll listen. I had no idea what she was talking about or what exactly she wanted to do. This time I'll listen. It will be different from the time with Satoshi-kun. When she said Satoshi's name, I turned back for a moment. Rena's secret power of time dilation. It seems so. But even as I did that, Rena was still advancing. I couldn't afford to stop. Satoshi-kun was worried too. It looked like he was having such a hard time. But I didn't listen. I was so sad. Where did this street connect to? All these twists and turns, ups and downs. It was hard to believe that this was even remotely in the direction towards my house. Got that serial killer walk. My sense of direction had long since gone out the window. I really regretted it when Satoshi-kun transferred out. I thought that if I had listened, he may not have transferred out. I really regretted that. What does she mean by this? Uh-oh. Uh-oh! The road led me deeper into the forest. Wasn't I getting farther away from the village the more I ran? I lost more and more of my composure the more I thought about it. But despite this realization, my inner self was still disturbingly calm. So you see, I vowed that if there was someone struggling like Satoshi-kun did, I'd save them. I don't want to see anyone transfer out again. Damn it! What does transfer even mean? I want to know too. Maybe you should talk to her, bro. I won't let you transfer me. I won't end up the same as Satoshi. Come on, Keiichi-kun. Talk to me. I'll be able to understand you, Keiichi-kun. I'm your ally. I started wheezing, out of breath. My lungs were so hot that they felt like they were going to explode, and my heart was beating as hard as it possibly could. I should have practiced running instead of my swinging. I couldn't even afford to scoff at that stupid thought. If Keiichi-kun doesn't have anything to worry about, we'll go back to normal. Everyone will be back to being friends and we can enjoy club activities again. Next time we'll team up and beat me-chan. Yeah. How much fun that would be. Rena couldn't even imagine how much I had wished I could turn back the clock these past few days. You could be nice to me again, too. I wanted to go searching for treasure again. This time I'll prepare a nice lunch. Actually, we could just go. Right now. Most murders end and begin in the forest. That's why I'm like, bro, you gotta turn around. Actually, we could just go right now. Let's go up the dam site together. I'll show you the cute thing I found. I'm sure you'll like it too. My footsteps made pathetic flapping sounds as my legs wobbled and faltered. Hot on my heels, Rena's steps were sharply breaking twigs underfoot. I had to accept it. I was on the run, being chased by Rena. If she caught me, it was all over. I realized it instinctively. I couldn't even begin to think what the end would entail. Just that if I was caught, it was all over. That's all I knew. It didn't matter how it was going to end. I wouldn't let it end. Not without knowing anything. Not yet. Just doctor, you have a bat, she has an axe. I don't know, man. I'd say it's even. Just whoever's faster wins. The momentary lapse was all it took. Of all the things that could have happened, my knees buckled underneath me and I crumpled towards the ground. I tried to stand frantically, urging my legs to respond. I used my bat as a makeshift cane to prop myself up, but Rena was already standing right in front of me. Compared to me, out of breath and utterly exhausted, Rena was so cool and composed that she could have froze the air around her. She wasn't breathing hard at all. Rather, I couldn't even sense if her heart was beating. Are you afraid of something, I wonder? It's not like you to tremble, Keiichi-kun. Her expression looked almost affectionate. Affectionate? Those soulless eyes, that mask of affection. As she admonished me for trembling, Rena's hands deftly slipped over her head. The blur of her arms as they moved made me feel as if I was staring at the godliness of the thousand-armed Buddha. Sorry. Then, as both of her hands met above her head, the axe that she held came into focus. I stared up at it in disbelief. It was all I could do. You gotta move, bro! I don't know, like cunt punt her with the bat or something. You're lower. Tell me what happened to Satoshi. Rena stayed like that, with the axe raised above her head, and solemnly opened her mouth. It was as if she was expressing a farewell to a friend she was never to see again. That cruel scenario resided somewhere in her actions. If I told you, Satoshi-kun transferred out. Enough of that transfer crap! It means demoned away, doesn't it? Doesn't it? You can tell me now, can't you? Who made Satoshi disappear? Was it you, Mion, or someone in the village? Answer me! I became frantic the more I screamed, but Rena did nothing but maintain the smile frozen on her face. I have no idea what Keiichi-kun is talking about. Then say it in a way so you do. Who is the perpetrator? Who of this chain of mysterious deaths? You seem to be confused, Keiichi-kun. What? There is no human perpetrator. Everything is by Oyashida-sama's will. Isn't Oyashida-sama's curse just superstition? You believe in that too? It's not about believing or not. Oyashida-sama exists. Period. It's getting more saturated. Rena's gaze grew even more gilded. The ferocity of her stare was so intense, not allowing me to question anything. There's just no way that something like Oyashida-sama could exist. You don't believe in Oyashida-sama? There's no way I could believe it. There's no way it could exist. It exists. Oyashida-sama exists. Keiichi-kun should have felt it personally. I've never felt something like that. Keiichi-kun, haven't you felt someone apologizing to you before? Constantly on top of that? All noise from the outside world disappeared. Only Rena's voice resounded, loudly and terribly. You see, until you forgive them, they'll always be with you. At school, at home, at your bedside. I couldn't understand what Rena was saying. It came to me too. Oyashida-sama did. That's why I transferred and came back to Hinamizawa. I don't understand. What does transfer mean? What was Rena saying? Hasn't Oyashida-sama come to you as well, Keiichi-kun? I'm probably the only one who can confide in. I'm probably the only one who you can confide in. I won't let you transfer out. Okay? Rena's demented laughter clanged around inside my head. Was Rena saying Oyashida-sama came to her as well? That's right. Last night I heard about that when I asked about Rena. Red lady, scariest thing ever. Red vision. Say it in red. Wrong game? Wrong game. Please keep this confidential. Also, part of this may be speculation. Not all of it may be true. Are you still interested? Oishi-san began speaking. Neither the victims nor the school filed a complaint, so there is no preliminary report. Basically, the police hadn't intervened in this matter. So all of these details are just what I heard from those involved, meaning that it's not that's credible. You said there were victims? Didn't Rena just break all the windows? No. Ren and Ryugu had attacked 3 boys using a metal bat. 2 of them had made it out with only bruises, and the other had been injured so badly that one of his eyes was permanently damaged. That's what happened to my eye. But wouldn't that be considered assault? Shouldn't the police have arrested her? For whatever reason, the victim never pressed charges. There was no support to the police, so they were beaten with a bat and suffered significant injuries. Normally, there would be a criminal investigation, but why didn't they press charges? I tried asking the 3 male victims from their side of the story, but they were all reluctant. It's hard to say, but they were all afraid, even after she had transferred schools. Oishi-san, could you summarize it starting from the beginning? Rena hit people while she broke the windows? Or was it she started breaking the windows after she got bored of hitting people? They sounded similar, but the meanings were drastically different. On an undisclosed date, Ren and Ryugu was conversing with 3 male students, close friends of hers, near the pool storage shed. Who were these 3? Can't reveal their names, but they were close to Ren and Ryugu, and it seems they were a group of friends. She was the lone girl of their group, so it wasn't that strange that the 4 of them were together. So what happened? I don't know the reason why. She took the baseball team's bat that was in the pool storage shed and beat the 3 of them down, one after another. What? There were no witnesses. This was on an account pieced together by the information given at the time of the incident. I wonder what they said to her. Like, I'm genuinely curious if she was, like, provoked in some way. One day after school, Rena and 3 male students were at the pool storage shed talking together. They weren't seeking help, rather they usually met up there. It appears it became a heated discussion. At that time, Rena underwent a change. The change was so abrupt that the 3 of them didn't comprehend what was happening. I gotta head to work, have a nice stream, have a nice one, Daniel. Then, taking the metal bat, she attacked her friends one after another. Leaving her friends covered in blood with gashes on their head, she made her way towards the school building. She's bad. Then she broke the glass windows one after another. A few minutes later, a teacher appeared on scene and subdued her. What was this change Rena underwent? What matches up in the statements from the 3 was a sudden change. The point that there was a transformation. I also could recall Rena's transformation. I'd seen the change many times before. It was so different from the usual Rena that I couldn't help but believe it was someone else who looked like Rena. The transformation they're talking about, had it happened before? No, there was nothing like that. As far as I could find out, in her medical history and past, there was nothing like that. Does that happen often, where people can change suddenly like Rena did? Of course it does. There are plenty of psychological phenomenon that could cause something like that. Then you're saying there was a dormant element in Rena that caused that transformation? I cannot say that for certain, but according to the statements of her friends, it's hard to believe that she had such a side to her. Kind, caring, and adorable. Even before she transferred here, she was probably pretty popular in school like she was now. That girl transforming suddenly and assaulting them with a bat. Who could imagine such a thing? Nobody could have seen it coming. I myself sometimes believe that I was mistaken for thinking that Rena was, even now. Wait, what? I myself sometimes believe that I was mistaken for thinking that was Rena, even now. Sorry. Then, what happened after that? There was a hospital right across from the school, so the 3 of them were carried in and treated quickly. What about Rena? What about the police? Why wasn't there a criminal investigation? You see, the police can't get involved unless they're called. Even though one was badly injured with permanent damage, why didn't they file charges? That's what caught my attention as well. Either some threat or pressure was placed on them, or they had a reason they couldn't file charges even if they wanted to. We're talking about you, after all. Of course, you looked into it, didn't you? Well, yeah, but I told you at the beginning, didn't I, that the victims were all very reluctant to talk. They didn't want to touch on the matter. Or rather, they didn't want to be involved. Ads are gonna run in like 10 seconds. So I'm gonna cut to a BRB screen here so that nobody misses anything, because it's very sousy right now. So I'll be right back. I'll get some water and then we'll continue reading. Okay? BRB! I'm gonna be so real with you. I was just sitting here waiting for the ads to finish, but like it's such an eerie just like sound sitting here with this music. I was like, maybe I should have gotten up and like walked away. It was so eerie. So eerie. Anyway, welcome back everyone. Let us continue with the story. I drink water and now I have the hiccups. Welcome back, thank you so much. I'm reluctant to talk. Didn't want to touch it. Didn't want to be involved. It resembled the villagers here, and Oyashida-sama's curse. Did the teacher at the school tell you anything? A school is hallowed ground. You could say they tend to keep scandals under wraps. I didn't have a search warrant, so I had to tread lightly, you see. Welcome back, Scatter! Oh wait, hold on. I forgot something. This. Okay, there we go. There we go. Then there was no comment from the school. No, they denied the incident even happened. What? Huh? It's just 3 male students were carried in for blunt force trauma that day. That's all there was in the hospital records. Huh? The victims didn't speak. The school denied it happened. Why? What? Then you don't know anything at all. Yeah, I know nothing other than the incident itself had taken place. The victims also wished this incident to be kept from the public. So if you and I both forget about it, Mibara-san, then this incident will probably just fade away. A lot of schools do this? Do they really? For a brief period, we sat in silence. At first glance, it looked like a simple assault case, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. The depths were obscured by roiling waves, sinking quietly into the void, as if it never existed to begin with. After that, she was suspended by the school, and during that time, she underwent psychiatric counseling. Did you hear anything from that doctor? Again, they were very professional in regards to their ethics, or at least very tight-lipped. Nothing even after you showed them your badge? I was told to get a warrant. The badge itself has no legally binding authority after all. Huh, I didn't know that, like, schools and hospitals could just omit evidence from a story? Usually for athletes, when they do freaked up stuff and maybe get a local paper column. Whoa. What? Huh. Then how did you know that Rena confessed that it was Oyashida-sama who did it? There was a nurse I asked in the department. She agreed to help me just from showing her my badge. Then what did she say? Turns out that the nurse hadn't heard everything. Apparently all that she remembered was that she overheard from inside the room. The nurse said that at the time Ren Ryugu was very calm and mild-mannered. It was more like she was confessing her sins at church than counseling a session. More than a counseling session. Like I said, there was no case and official investigation. Oh, like he said, there was no case and official investigation. Okay, yeah, I guess that's true. She spoke with her mother there for some of it, but partway through her mother was asked to leave, so it was just a private counseling session between just the doctor and Rena for a while. The part with Oyashida-sama, when did that pop up? Partway through. She screamed the name suddenly. That startled the nurse, and that's why she started listening in. It was Oyashida-sama! Rena suddenly shouted that. I had no idea what was said before, so I had no idea what the meaning behind it could have been. The doctor calmly and collectedly asked Rena to have a seat. What is this Oyashida-sama you speak of? Gently, ever so gently. The fundamentals of counseling were believing that what you were told. Whoever abandons Hinamizawa will be hunted down by Oyashida-sama, and they've finally gotten to me! That's the town you lived in before you moved here. Isn't that right, Ryugu-san? I didn't want to move, but because of my mom and dad's circumstances, we had to. But Oyashida-sama wouldn't allow it. Ryugu-san must have lots of friends in Hinamizawa. Even now you must be missing them dearly, don't you think? I want to go back to Hinamizawa. No, not that I want to go back. I have to go back. I should have gone back much sooner. But now it's too late. Oyashida-sama has come. Oyashida-sama is the name of the god in Hinamizawa, isn't that right? Everyone knows. It's Hinamizawa's guardian deity, and if you ever try abandoning Hinamizawa by leaving, you'll incur his wrath. You had moved quite a while ago, didn't you? Then it was just now that this god has arrived. Is what you're saying? You might not believe me, but Oyashida-sama exists. The nurse was taken. The nurse was then asked by another nurse to do something and left the room. That was all she remembered. That it was Oyashida-sama's doing, right? I do believe there is that kind of superstition in Hinamizawa. that if you leave the village, then you incur Uyoshida-sama's wrath. You should be familiar with this part, Meibara-san. I knew very well that those scorned by the village incurred. To hinder the dam construction project, they cursed the construction foreman to his death. Then the following year, Satoko's parents, supporters, and leading advocates for the dam were cursed to their death. But this was the first time I've heard of the curse incurred by leaving the village. This is my first time hearing that. I can understand outside threats being cursed by the village, but why also villagers who leave? Normally people who leave villages aren't supposed to be cursed, right? I know it's a bit strange to say, but I could see it as a rule that the people who come in are the ones who would be cursed. Far from Jupiter, far from his thunder. Curses weren't something to chase after people that leave, were they? Oishi-san pondered for a bit over the other end of the receiver, then began speaking again. Well, I told you long ago when Hinamizawa was called Onigafuchi, didn't I? I recalled hearing that. Oopsie. Long ago, Hinamizawa was feared and respected as a village of ogres. The villagers at the foot of the mountains worshipped the ogres, so Onigafuchi was hollowed ground that you could never enter. It came to be said that if you entered carelessly, you were cursed by Oyoshida-sama. Those who set foot in Onigafuchi, in other words Hinamizawa, would be cursed. I could understand that. I know that. But for leaving to also be no good, that's... Also, the ogres, you see, they were being strictly watched by Oyoshida-sama so that they would not enter into our world. In other words, Oyoshida-sama probably restricted interaction between Onigafuchi and the rest of the world. I see. Finally understood what sort of thing Oyoshida-sama was. So basically, Oyoshida-sama is more like a warden than a protectorate deity, I guess? Trying to keep this place isolated from the rest of the world. Okay. Maybe that's why she's saying you can't be transferred out. She's trying to protect him, actually. I guess that's how it would seem. I'm sorry. I don't know very much myself. This is mostly what was passed on to me from my grandmother. I could understand it a bit better if it was like that. Those who came to Hinamizawa would be cursed, and those who tried to leave would also be cursed. So basically, Rena originally lived in Hinamizawa and moved away. She fulfilled the requirements for being cursed. So that means because Rena moved away against its wishes, she was cursed by Oyoshida-sama. Is that what it adds up to? In short, that seems to be what it points to, I guess. As a matter of fact, soon afterwards, they did move back to Hinamizawa after all. Those who abandoned Hinamizawa and left were cursed. But then why only Rena? Shouldn't Rena's parents also have been guilty of the same transgression by moving away and have been cursed? Also, in this day and age in Japan, shouldn't there be a lot of people coming and going? If every single one of them was cursed, then it'd be insane. But in reality, it wasn't that big of a deal at all. Yeah, because only one person dies and then one person goes missing. At most, there would be one person dying and one person disappearing on the day of the Watanagashi. I don't like saying at most, though. Well, anyway, there's a lot I still don't know. Even if it was Oyoshida-sama's curse, it doesn't add up as to why her classmates, the victims who were beaten with a metal bat, wouldn't press charges. Yeah, that really doesn't make any sense. You don't think the victims were cowering because they believed that a terrible curse had befallen them, do you? Okay, possibly. Of course, I didn't want to believe it, but more importantly, I had just realized something else. There was another bizarre connection that Rena made between Oyoshida-sama's curse and the metal bats. Satoshi fell victim to Oyoshida-sama's curse and went missing. I had recently learned the Satoshi had also become infatuated with the metal bat right before he disappeared. Just like me. Then Rena as well. She was affected by Oyoshida-sama's curse. She confessed that much to the doctor. There is a connection with the bat. And the weapon which she had used at the time of the horrendous act was again a metal bat. And finally me. I'd encountered various things that were inexplicable, and now I was holding onto a metal bat. I was shocked when I learned that Satoshi did the same thing. It couldn't be. That the same thing happened to Rena? But there was one critical difference between her and Satoshi's case. That being, Satoshi went missing after falling victim to the curse, but Rena was still here. Both of them had fallen victim to Oyoshida-sama's curse, Yet they were met with different endings. Maybe because Rena came back, and I think Satoshi genuinely did leave, like transfer, and then he went missing? And finally me. I couldn't call it a coincidence anymore. Rena, Satoshi, and finally me. Couldn't it be that I really was under Oyoshida-sama's curse right now? No. More importantly than that, what should I do now? Satoshi has been demoned away, vanishing without a trace. Rena was fine. Fine? Rena had undergone a change. I can only believe that there was something that wasn't Rena residing within her. And here right now, it was standing before me. I forgot that we were in front of Rena this whole time. Rena, please tell me. What will happen to me? Rena stood imposing, not answering. Wait, what? Imposingly, not answering. Satoshi disappeared. But Rena didn't disappear. So what will happen to me? Stare. She's just staring at me, menacingly. I never heard such an unpleasant laugh before. It had become akin to the sound of her breathing. It was no longer a voice or an expression of feeling. Don't worry. I'll save you. Rena took one step forward, holding the axe high above her head. Now then. One step closer. Rena's face spread out to fill my vision. Speak. One step closer. Rena's nose was close enough to touch mine, and was still pushing closer. There's something you want to say, isn't there? I'll listen. I'll save you. Okay? Speak. Okay? Speak. Okay? I slumped down, landing squarely on my butt. It wasn't for some pathetic reason. It was all I could do to get as far away from Rena. I had the gut feeling that I couldn't let her laughter end. Because when that laugh ended, the laughing ended, rather. The moment I picked up on that feeling, my body moved by instinct. I sprang to my feet so fast I couldn't believe it and pushed Rena away with both hands. Rena was as light as a feather. Thrown about by the unbalanced weight of the axe, she was sent backwards, as if she had been carried off by the wind. After confirming that, out of the corner of my eye, I dashed at full speed. I was the perfect picture of fleeing like a greased pig. Get away from Rena. Run away. Survive. I couldn't think of anything other than this. While I was running, I remembered I'd been holding onto the bat the entire time. Such a worthless weapon. I couldn't believe I'd forgotten about this weapon at such an important time. I sped even faster, down the winding path. This guy's gonna trip and fall and break his leg or something. I didn't even feel myself gasping for breath or my legs getting heavy. My body understood it as well. Sure, blame the weapon, yeah. If I didn't run away from here, I wouldn't live. I could hear the laughter of that simulacrum of Rena coming from behind me. It rang through the trees and in my head, and slowly chiseled away at my sanity. The grove of trees thinned out, my field of vision suddenly expanding. Where was this? For a moment I was bewildered by the scenery. I felt I knew, but I couldn't quite remember. Take a drink of water. I quickly realized it wasn't the campsite. The fact that I dashed madly and ended up in a place like this gave me a bad feeling, like I was following someone's scripted plot. I had a good view of my surroundings, but I didn't see a single soul here. This was a terrible spot for someone on the run, but there was no better place for an attacker. My heart was already on the verge of bursting. The muscles in my legs were screaming, but I didn't care. Amnesia. Hi, Muto! Let me get a cough drop. My mouth is very dry. I don't know if a cough drop will help. I have the same, like, Chinese herbal stuff, but it's in cough drop form. I almost dropped it. Okay, got it. If I'd stop here, then they might not even be able to scream for much longer. Even still, I glanced back, looking for an excuse to rest. Rena wasn't there. Instead, I saw 2 villagers walking around. I breathed a sigh of relief that it wasn't Rena, but a third party. Except the voice inside me rang the alarm once again. Villagers walking around weren't suspicious in and of themselves, but it bothered me. They both wore rough-looking clothes. Empty-handed, they definitely gave the impression that they were just going for a walk. But at this time of day, 2 adults wandering around without a purpose, it was enough to raise questions. But more than anything, those eyes. They weren't chit-chatting while walking. They were both silent, heading forward, looking in my direction. Uh-oh. I was at the end of my rope and had finally started imagining things. Or was I at the end of my rope, rather? I should run away. That was probably the best choice. What is going on? If they weren't involved, I'd lose them easily by running. Oh, it's like the situation where you gotta like hide in your house and stuff like that. If they were part of the group after me, then they would come running after me. Either way, unless I hurried up, Brennan would catch up with me. That's right. I was going to run. Deciding that, the moment I began to turn tail, both of them rushed towards me as if they knew exactly what I was thinking. Somewhere inside me, I had jumped to the conclusion that Rena was the only thing I needed to be afraid of. I made the assumption that I didn't need to fear anything else. But right now, I realized just how blatantly wrong I was. Suddenly, the story Oishi-san told me about the demons all leaving the village to hunt prey floated through the back of my mind. I could tell they were both coming after me without even turning around because of their frantic footsteps. It was frightening, being unable to shake Rena off as she slowly closed in on me. But this didn't even compare. Being pursued with such violent ferocity, this straightforward horror was unparalleled. One of the pursuers' arms grazed my shoulders. Now it wasn't just their frenzied footsteps, but also the distinct sound of their breathing that I could hear. No, I could practically feel them breathing on me. They were already right behind me. Calm down, Keiichi Meibara! Still running at full tilt, I felt the surrounding area go still. No, it felt like time itself had stopped. I turned my head back slightly in that frozen world, realizing how close my pursuers had gotten to me. I couldn't win against the legs of an adult. In less than the time it would take to blink twice, when this frozen time began moving again, they'd be right on top of me. And then, don't think about it, Keiichi. First, realize that you won't be able to shake them off like this. If the fact that you can't get away was a given idea, then you need to make a decision. Go with the right leg or with the left. You just need to decide which one. Let's go with the left. The moment I decided that, the temporal singularity burst into pieces. Right. Left. I swung the bat in a wide arc with my right arm. Using that inertia, I stopped and suddenly spun. Hi, Auk! And hi, Muto. What? The 2 of them were clearly startled, momentarily losing sight of me. Both of their outstretched arms, ready to grab me, instead grasped that empty space. The man on the right, The man on the right, I applaud him being able to figure it out, spun around to the spot I shouldn't have been, and faced me in astonishment. But it was too late. I didn't even need to swing my bat. All I needed to do was extend my arms as I turned around. It was by no means a heavy blow, but it seemed like I had enough power behind it to knock him off of his feet. But just knocking him down wasn't enough to scare him away. He got back up in no time. Both of them took a frightening stance, and they were ready to face me. Is it 2 guys? Never mind, it was three guys that Rena assaulted. I was like, coincidence? This made me certain that they weren't just 2 people out for a walk. They were clearly after me. It felt much easier than dealing with Rena. Just by not recognizing their faces, by not knowing them, it made things easier. I smiled wryly on the inside. What do you want with me? Next one is going to be right in your face, you bastard. Hi, Dan Dan. It's fine. If it was just a bluff. By barking out at them, I was able to fire myself up. They didn't respond. They spread out to either side of me with unbelievably calm expressions on their faces. Thank you for the hydrate, Nanda. One of them would grab onto my bat and the other would hold me down. What was their plan? Oh, was that their plan? Taking on both of them at once would be impossible. Hot sweat poured from every pore of my body. Then, I just had to settle it with the first move. I'd step in and strike the first one down. Narrowing my target down to the man on the right who had already been knocked down before, I stepped in and swung with all my might. There was no way for an unarmed person to guard against it. It would cause immense damage. Unlucky number. Then, it was possible that the blow would travel all the way to their vital organs. What did you just clip, Don? It looked like he was aware of this. He pushed farther through the kill zone between us and delivered a fist right into my gut. Not good. With this distance, in this position, and in this state, there was no way for me to dodge it. Oh! The world flipped upside down. I understand that I was being tossed around like a rag doll, or I understood rather. Oh, you know, words. I landed on the soft earth without a sound, feeling the grainy soil press against my face. Explode his kidney. With my mind. With my mind, I'm exploding your kidney with my mind. One punch, man. One punch! It didn't hurt at all. But the moment I thought that, I suddenly felt pain coming from the abrasions on my skin, as well as the contents of my stomach being forced upwards, flooding my mouth with a bitter sensation. Ew! Get the air knocked out of him? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Explosion! I knew very well that I didn't have time to relish this experience. I stood up as quickly as I could, but in that moment the other man was already barreling towards me. Being able to comprehend calmly that I simply couldn't dodge it made it all the more upsetting. After plowing into my stomach full force, once again my assailant twisted around behind me and locked his thick arm around my neck. My throat felt like it was being crushed by his immense strength. What has happened so far, Heme? If you haven't been on Truck Sim, have you? Wait, what has happened so far, Heme? You haven't been on Truck Sim? No, I have not been on Truck Sim. Keiichi's just been like running from Rena, and like now he's like trying to run away from these guys trying to attack him. I couldn't even contemplate that I was being strangled, or that I was about to go unconscious. My vision simply darkened, and a silent whining noise began playing deep inside my mind. I took everything I had to keep myself from blacking out. While this was happening, the other man was more than likely standing in front of me. I wasn't able to open my eyes, but I could feel that he was there. There was nothing I could do now. Unable to shake this arm off of me, I couldn't run. I couldn't fight back. Dire strains. I couldn't even come up with the phrase that adequately described my situation. Oh, come up with. It's doomed. It's Jover. He's cooked. He's cooked, as the kids say. Doesn't end there, does it? Right? You're not gonna end me on a cliffhanger, are you? Okay. Okay. I was worried. My goat would never be cooked, it's just a fake out. A familiar ceiling, the smell of the bed and pillows. I knew them well. Was this my room? Normally there wouldn't be anyone in my room besides me, but their presence made me spring wide awake. When I did that, pain shot throughout my entire body. Feeling alright. I think you just better lie down for a bit. Why was Rena in my room? Blood began to surge through my muscles and my capillaries, but Rena's smile belonged to the Rena I knew well. I knew I shouldn't let myself feel this way, but I relaxed thinking this version of Rena was safe. Why am I... Don't you remember? After losing consciousness, nothing at all. My body had become more lethargic than I could have ever imagined. I guess it would be the expected outcome after exerting anything I had back there. I tried to at least clear my head, but I couldn't shake the sluggish feeling out of my mind. Green Bean, thank you for checking into the blood bank. Welcome in. I called the doctor. He should be here soon. I think you better just lie down until then. I wasn't injured seriously enough to merit calling a doctor, but knowing that someone impartial was coming was slightly reassuring. Why am I here? I'm sure I was at the dam site. That's what I want to know. What happened? When I got here, Keiichi-kun was already passed out. That's why I'm the one who wants to know. I was attacked by two weirdos. As I talked about it, I finally remembered what happened right before I passed out. Recalling that memory and the terror that went along with it caused the fogginess around my head to clear up. Let's forget about those two for now. I didn't expect Rena to be nursing me. I thought Rena was trying to kill me. She would have had the perfect chance while I was unconscious. Not only did she not kill me, she had nursed me back to health. What game is this? As if it doesn't say in the title. And under the title. Not only did she not kill me, she had nursed me back to health. Amazing you could drag me all the way back here. Wasn't I heavy? Looking at Rena's delicate frame, it was too hard to believe that she had not only gotten me back home, but even dragged me all the way back up the second floor. The game is called Cricket, 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 Cricket. Yes, exactly, you get it. Did she have some help? Don't you remember, Keiichi-kun? Rena appeared to be a bit surprised, but still kept her smile. I only propped you up on my shoulder. You said you could walk on your own and that you were fine. You don't remember? I didn't remember. My memory was fuzzy after the point where I lost consciousness. What about these two? Huh? When you got there, Rena, the ones with me, or rather those two guys. There wasn't anyone. She said it bluntly. The way she stated it felt slightly unpleasant. I was just too timid at the time. I might have been able to force some answers out of Rena. Her bloodlust was satiating by murdering the two dudes? That's okay. That's a good theory. Good theory. But if I did that, then this kind of Rena might transform into the scary Rena who I didn't know. Fearing that, I didn't press it any further. Thinking about it, it was the obvious choice. If both of those men were there, I don't think Rena could even have stood a chance. I couldn't find a way to explain it, unless I assumed she brought me here after those two were already gone. Rena was still smiling. Her eyes sparkled warmly. Yet, I felt like I was hallucinating when I saw something. Something akin to a shadow slowly creeping across her face. That small omen sent shivers down my spine. While Rena was still Rena, I needed to make contact. I needed to contact Oishi-san. Sorry, my throat just made a really weird noise. Rena stopped me when I tried to get out of bed. Vampire? I'm not even gonna try to pronounce all of that. Welcome in, Vamp. Thank you for checking into the blood bank. Rena stopped me when I tried to get out of bed. She said it would aggravate my wounds, so I should sleep. I'd like to go to the bathroom, though. Sorry. Rena couldn't say anything else. I'm so confused. Like, part of me feels like probably there is a curse, and it causes, like, personality shifts in people. And Keiichi has been experiencing this the whole time with, like, the paranoia and stuff like that. And with Rena, it just, like, comes out as aggression. And I think maybe she genuinely does want to protect him. I don't know. It's so confusing right now. Maybe the real curse were the friends we murdered along the way. Rena stayed in the room. I quickly went downstairs to get the phone receiver in the living room. I love your vibe and voice. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Everyone in the village is just bipolar. There we go. When I approached the second door, the doorbell rang. Ding dong. Must have been the doctor, Rena called. It was strange for a patient to welcome in the doctor who was making a house call. But it would be incredibly reassuring to have him here for the considerable time it would take Oishi-san to get here. I carelessly opened the door with that simple assumption and regretted it almost instantly. Oh no, is it Mion? I fucking knew it! Mion! Oh, you look just fine. I heard you collapsed, so I came to check up on you. How did you know I collapsed? I heard from Rena over the phone. Do I need any other reason than that? I understood why she would call a doctor. But why Mion too? Mion was descending the stairs behind me. Rena was descending the stairs. Rena, doesn't Kei-chan look pretty alright? Sheesh, you made me worry for nothing. That's true. Maybe I worried for nothing as well. They both began laughing. It appeared to be cheerful laughter, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was darkness looming over them. Now they're both in your house! Whoa. What's up with the shoe rack? How did it get like this? The shoe rack that I smashed into pieces had been like that since yesterday. They're all about to double team my boy. I know, right? They got him cornered. They got him trapped. I fell, you see, and the bat I was holding at the time slammed into it. This is what happens when you swing around something you're not used to handling. I kept the fact that it was none of her business to myself. But leaving it like this will really startle your parents when they get home. I'll fix it up for you later. That's nice of her. Some guys have all the luck. Now come on, Kei-chan. The terminally ill need their rest. Come. Back to bed. Back in bed. Hey, get him! Both of them urged me up the stairs. I had no chance to call Oishi-san. I was pushed into my bed. Huh? As it was the first time Mion had been in my room, she began searching around it intently. She fiddled around my room and was scolded by Rena. You can imagine how it went. It was uncomfortable having my room poked around, but the conversation around was so benign that it was heartwarming. During that innocent conversation, Mion said something as though it was perfectly ordinary. Rena, did you call the manager? Yep, right after I called Michan. He said he'd be right over. Manager. That out-of-place word gave me a bad feeling. Rena called a doctor. Then called Mion. And after that she called a manager? Don't let her find your spank bank. Don't worry, it's all under his futon that he's laying on right now. Who was this manager? Since Rena and Mion's conversation was so peaceful, it only felt slightly odd. What are you two talking about? Who is this manager? Didn't you know, Kei-chan? We meant the manager when we say manager. What? Like the director of a movie, or like a foreman of a construction site. Okay. I dug through all of my memories for a manager who might have had business with me. Only one thing came to mind. What Rena just said, the construction site foreman. The very first victim of the first incident, the dismemberment at the dam construction site. The foreman? But that was strange. He was supposed to be dead. There was no way that they could call him. I don't understand what you guys are talking about. What does that manager have to do with me? You said he was coming. Did you mean to my house? I asked one obvious question after another, but all the two of them did was smile coolly at each other. We've got 4 men, but what about 5 men? We have 5 guys. We've got 5 guys. What do you mean? Slowly, I felt discomfort and panic welling up inside me. I couldn't understand what Rena and Mion were talking about. Kei-chan, you've gotten into baseball lately, haven't you? Club manager? But isn't that Mion? Isn't it Mion, or is it Satoko? Pretty sure the manager would be happy to hear that. So who is this manager? The manager is the manager. So who is this manager? Rena and Mion looked at each other and laughed haughtily. That disturbing cackle unpleasantly resounded around me. That laugh, long enough to be unsettling, ended abruptly. Oh, God. Burger! Oh, yeah. We should finish up before the manager comes. Who is the freaking manager? You remember, don't you, Kei-chan? Her face was laughing, but Mion's eyes told a different story. Remember? Remember what? Keiichi-kun, had he forgotten, I wonder? About the penalty. About the penalty? Did you really forget? The homework with the mochi? The homework where you were supposed to guess which one Rena made? You forgot about that homework, didn't you? Why are they being creepy again? I certainly did have that homework, but I had thrown away the rest of the mochi after I found the sewing needle, so I wasn't able to answer which one Rena made. The penalty for that. Why now? No doubt my question was written all over my face. Their answer to my question was that dry laughter. I could no longer make heads or tails of anything. I began to think that this entire day was somehow insane, strange, incomprehensible. Being chased by Rena, attacked by strange men, the penalty Mion and Rena were talking about. All guys were victims? There's a connection? No, there were some women that were affected. At least by, like, Oyashida-sama and the spiriting away. What were these two laughing at? It didn't take that long for me to realize I had been dragged into an abnormal situation. Who were these two? Who were these people? Who were these doppelgangers of Rena and Mion? Rena had gotten behind me at some point. Why was she pinning my arms around my back? What are you doing? Don't move. This is your penalty. My body was already very sluggish, and Rena, pinning my arms, made it that much harder to move. Skinwalkers? No, I think these are the real Rena and Mion. I seriously tried to struggle, but she wouldn't even budge. My panic began to well up, and I realized this was well beyond the realm of jokes and pleasantries. This freakishly monstrous strength, it would have been impossible for Rena that I knew. Then, these thin, frail arms grasping me firmly. Whose arms were they? Kei-chan, no struggling. Club rules. There are no exceptions. You can't fight against that penalty. Mion, no. That thing looked like Mion. Spoke to me like how Mion would speak to me. But I was certain this was not Mion. Someone who wasn't Mion. Someone who was just pretending to be Mion. Need to finish this up before the manager comes. Mion fished into her pockets and pulled out something bizarre. I could tell what it was just by looking, but for such a thing to be in her pocket, my mind wouldn't accept it. What's in her pocket? What is that? It was a small syringe? It was a small clear syringe with what a doctor would use when you went to him when you were sick. Rena held me even tighter, and I could hear that clattering laughter that no longer sounded like laughter blaring into my ear. The eerie laughter, it wasn't something that the Rena I knew could ever produce from her own throat. This was this thing that was pretending to be Rena. Was this their usual laugh? Unable to defend myself, the syringe Mion was holding drew closer, and that needle tip was waved in front of my face countless times. Don't worry. Don't worry. It won't hurt. It won't hurt. Inject air into his veins as a prank? No! Don't do that! What are you planning on doing? What kind of sick joke is this? What are you saying, Kei-chan? You know exactly what's going on, don't you? About what? I don't understand any of this at all. I know you know. No use playing the fool this late in the game. Stop talking nonsense and trying to confuse me. You're going to have done to you what happened to Tomitake-san. He's dreaming this, right? He's dreaming. What? The same as Tomitake-san. I didn't really understand what she meant. What did that have to do with this syringe? I feel like he's dreaming all of this. I feel like he finally fell asleep and he's just having a really bad dream. You're playing dumb, Keiichi-kun. You should have realized it by now. Rena whispered into my ear, laughing as if to admonish me. But even the way she spoke was repulsive beyond compare. Playing dumb? Me? About what? What do you mean? The same as Tomitake-san. There's no way! Everyone thought at first that it was a hit and run, except when the officer got closer to check if he was still alive, he soon noticed it wasn't a normal situation. His throat was scratched out. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails! Nails as in fingernails. With those gorged through? That's right. Tomitake-san had clawed at his own throat with his own nails and died. There's no way someone could die like that. So then, for that to happen, we thought drugs were the blame, but nothing of that nature was detected. That's right. The police couldn't find any drugs in Tomitake-san's system. Can we not kick them out of the house? I mean, he could, but apparently Rena has superhuman strength now. The police told me they didn't find any drugs in Tomitake-san's body. Gway, 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 gway. The two of them laughed together with that sickening laughter. Of course they'd laugh. To assume that such a medicine didn't exist just because the police didn't know about it was completely foolish. Swiper, no injections. Yeah, he also did get his ass kicked prior, apparently. And if this is a dream, I mean, it's gonna kind of pan out how it's gonna pan out. Meaning that the drug caused Tomitake-san to die in such a bizarre manner did exist. If Mion injected this into me, then that would probably be all the proof that I needed. That would basically mean I'd end up the same as Tomitake-san. Become hysterical, scratching out my throat in my last moments, then die. For such an outrageous drug to exist, for Mion to be holding it, and that I was about to be injected with it. At that moment, I did not feel there was any need whatsoever to question it. What kind of idiot, when he was trying to dodge a ball flying straight for his face, has time to think of a reason as to why it's flying at him? Just give up. All right then. Mion's actions lacked any gravitas, and that made it even more terrifying. There was none of the ceremony like when someone is sentenced to death. There was no hesitation at all, as if she were brushing her teeth. Mion reached out with one hand and grabbed onto my chest. It felt like electricity had run through the back of my head, and the entire world had gone dark. Did I stand up too fast? Or did somebody hit me really hard in the back of the head? Having lost my sense of balance, I was assaulted by a wave of dizziness. And this is where he wakes up, and it's fine, and his parents are home, and... No way it ends here. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way it ends here, right? There's no way. Not the cliffhanger. Okay. It doesn't end here. Phew! I squatted down for a bit. When I came back to my senses, my entire room had changed drastically. The numbness in my head was gone, and slowly I could tell the blood was flowing to my extremities again. How long had I been squatting here? How many minutes? Or had it been hours? It was almost as if the hands of the clock had stopped moving the entire time my eyes were closed. That's how little time had passed. Really? The air in the room wasn't filled with that madness from before. Only a dull silence. What drugs were they on when they wrote this? I don't know, it's crafted pretty well if it's like all about the curse. Rena wasn't there pinning my arms, and Mion wasn't there about to inject me with a needle. No way. Could it be? All of it? Was a hallucination? There was no other presence in the room besides my own. It was the weirdest experience I'd ever had. I was certainly with Rena and Mion. It added my sanity for a moment, but I was also seized with some sort of comfort. I guess that terrible ordeal was a hallucination. Neither Rena nor Mion, they couldn't ever do it. Something so terrible. My head grew hot. I could tell my emotions were welling up. Why? That wasn't a reason to cry. Why? It was sorrow. Why was I sad? I don't understand. I don't understand. Kind to everyone, not discriminating against age or gender. Mion. That Mion was sprawled by the window in an unnatural pose. Blood stained her deep red from the head down to her chest. What? The bright red crimson smeared on the walls. That splatter had undoubtedly come from Mion. She always had that bright smile and was kind to me from the day I transferred. Rena? That same Rena was slumped at my feet and was making the same pool of blood as Mion. See, hallucinating again? Holy shit! I couldn't comprehend what had happened. Did someone come to save me? Then they beat those two down with this metal bat? I finally noticed that weight in my right hand. How long had it been there? Remember in the beginning? There was the sound of the swinging bat and the squishing meat, and he was talking about how he was something along the lines of like, oh, she was like such a sweet girl. I'd forgotten already? Yeah, I forgot too up until this point. It was Satoshi's metal bat. It was covered in a deep red. There was no doubt that this was the weapon used to mutilate both of them. And I was holding that weapon. I was the only person in the house. What? Looking at this objectively, I couldn't think of anyone other than myself who could have done it. I did this. That was right. Keiichi Maebara. Of course I did it. I told myself gently, as if coaxing myself. Hey, me. There is no reason for you to remember it, nor is there a need to regret it. Eat or be eaten. You get that, don't you? But the blood. There's so much. Neither Rena nor Mion moved an inch. It wasn't just a split forehead or a trickle of blood, nothing that simple. The entire room was splattered with red, and that told me it didn't end with just 2 or 3 strikes. Were they dead? Both of them. The depths of my mind were calm, but on the surface I was panicking and agitated. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. What happened to your usual calm self? Come on now. Do like you always do. Throw your head back. Take a deep breath. Come on. Once. Twice. Breathe deeply. Calm down. Calm down. Chanted that over and over in my head and relaxed. Color came back to my vision and smells re-infused the air. At the same time I remembered what happened when I blacked out. Oh! Rena and Mion had attacked me. They were about to inject me with whatever caused the same symptoms as Tomitake-san. But right before that happened, I fought back. I twisted my whole body and threw Rena as she was pinning my arms. Then I followed through with my spin and rammed my foot as hard as I could into Mion's torso. Your voice is making me fall asleep. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was soft. Rena tried jumping on me, so I attacked her as hard as I could and slammed her against the wall. I didn't let that brief moment of having them off balance slip by. Satoshi's bat was left carelessly by the side of my desk. He finally fought back! Weep! At that moment, everything was pitch black. There was nothing recorded past this point in the videotape of my mind. No, that wasn't right. It wasn't that there was nothing recorded. It was recorded just fine. Just the other me inside myself had told me not to look and had turned the TV off. Just because the screen had gone black and I couldn't see it didn't mean the videotape within me hadn't recorded it. The TV was just turned off. The video was still playing. The tape within me, creaking along, still playing. On the other end of that pitch black screen, that horrifying video was still playing on. Jeez. Compared to this, though, the scene right before my eyes was still so difficult to take in. There was blood splattered everywhere on the walls, the two of them in these unnatural poses, not a sign of movement from them. I couldn't even tell if they were breathing, no matter what the circumstances were. My friends, these girls, I had attacked them. I may have even killed them. But if I hadn't done this, I would have been done for. I would have been the one done for. Balancing that out out on an imaginary scale, it felt odd that I'd even feel bad about it. Even if it was a bit excessive, there was justifiable self-defense. The proof was all there. The two of them collapsed here, and Mion's syringe. Mion's syringe filled with some unknown drug will certainly solve the mystery surrounding the incident with Tomitake-san. Imagine he gives it to Oishi-san for testing, and he finds out that it's just medicine. And they were just playing a prank on him. And from the fact that both of these two were involved, they'd be able to pick out the criminals one after the other. Still, I might be suspected for this, but that was just fine. Anyway, now this should be a police affair. This wouldn't fade into the darkness like Rena's past incidents. It's just saline. Yeah, imagine. As long as the police were involved, that should bring this all to a close. They'll probably revisit their investigation on the chain of incidents. Oishi-san would definitely get to the bottom of it. Meaning my wish of not wanting to die, of wanting to know the truth, that would be fulfilled in its most basic form. It was all a matter of time now. The Dr. Rena called should be getting here soon. I'll confess everything to him. I needed to contact Oishi-san. I think Mion was the doctor. At that moment I remembered, besides the doctor, a manager had been called. It was easy to imagine that they were someone deeply involved with the incidents, judging from Rena and Mion's conversation. The ache in my chest, caused by the gruesome deed I'd done, dissipated rapidly. It was not over yet. This place was no longer safe. Stay calm, Keiichi Meibara. It's not over yet. I needed to live long enough to tell the police of this incident. At that moment, I felt like I heard someone's voice from outside. Since people were speaking, it must mean there was more than one person. Uh-oh. I moved the curtain over ever so slightly and peered outside. It was a bizarre sight. About 4 or 5 grown men were all gathered at the gate. They very much resembled the 2 men who had assaulted me at the dam site today. Those 2 might even be among them. There was one person there wearing a white coat. Okay. But he didn't look like a doctor at all. My gut told me he was in disguise, only posing as a doctor. That guy would probably ring the bell and get me to open the front door. Pretend to be a doctor to get me to open the door, and then the rest of them would rush in at once. At that moment, I saw the car parked behind the men, and my heart nearly skipped a beat. The white van! Huh? No, oh, the van that hit him! Or tried to hit him, rather. There was no mistaking it. That van, the one that had tried to run me down? The man in the white coat entered the gate and headed towards the front door. The rest of the men hid in the bushes and watched him. I probably couldn't pretend that I wasn't home. Undoubtedly, they'd just break the window and enter. I needed to get out of here somehow. Then, use a public phone to contact Oishi-san. Then meet up somewhere. First of all, I needed a weapon. Then shoes. Before all of that, there was one thing that I had to do. I had no intention of dying. I'd live and reveal the truth about this nonsensical curse of Oyashida-sama. But that would happen from here on, regardless of how determined I was, may bring about my demise. And that was why there was one thing more important than getting out of here right now. The note behind the clock? I needed to get the clock down. Yeah, I needed to get the clock out quickly and take down the note hidden behind it. Damn it. The tape was sticking to it fast. I'd be fine if it was torn a little. It'd be fine, rather. I opened up the slightly torn note and began writing another message with a ballpoint pen. If I wasn't able to inform Oishi-san, then the only thing I could rely on was this note. I'd never thought a piece of torn college-ruled notebook paper could be this reliable before. I had no time. I'd only write what I knew right now. I needed to leave some sort of information that would lead them to uncover the truth. Rena and Mion are conspirators of the perpetrators. This was an undeniable fact. I still didn't want to believe it, but it was a fact. Anyway, and leave all the information that would help lead them to finding the perpetrators. There are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They have a white van. This was everything I was able to see from the window. There may be more. Also, there was that unidentified person known as the manager. To begin with, the term manager didn't even mesh with Hinamizawa at all. If they were going to include the managers from the past incidents, then the only one is a construction foreman. the victim from the first murder. The very first victim in the chain of incidents. Killed in a lynching. His body divided into 6 pieces. His right arm was never discovered. The police should have confirmed that death. Spooky! Ads are gonna run in like 5 seconds. So I'll be your bee for like 3 minutes and then we'll come back and we'll continue. Ugh, this one is really long. Alright. Oh, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hopefully it didn't scare anyone for real. Welcome back. Hi! Imagine somebody falls asleep to this VOD and then they're like, oh, Ah! Welcome back. Thank you. Drink some water really quick. Okay. It's all the water I have, so I probably have one more sip. So hopefully this wraps up soon, because I'll have to get up and get more water. But Rena and Mion did both call him manager. Just scream and we just scream, wake up, and pretend that nothing happened. Wake up! They said manager. They wouldn't yet use that term to refer to someone who was dead. The police would never even conceive that someone who was diseased could be involved. Looking forward to 9 more hours of Higurashi Chapter 1. Can you imagine? I'm actually sitting here thinking, imagine this takes 2 streams to get through. Could that be some sort of oversight? I didn't know. But even if I did know, it could be a big hint for Oishi-san. That's right. They needed to start fresh from the first incident. It wasn't just a simple dismemberment, but the start of this string of mysterious deaths that would follow. So then there must be something hidden there. Please, reinvestigate the victim from the dismemberment incident. He's alive. His death should have been established after an autopsy. Logically, you would think as much. But was that really the case? Could it have been some sort of ploy that they were able to deceive the police with? I shouldn't jump to conclusions. Welcome back, thank you. But he may still be alive. I had no time to ponder that right now. Oh yeah. There was something even more important I needed to write. Tomitake-san's death was from his unknown drug. That's right, that drug. It was an irreplaceable piece of evidence. No doubt, just by having this, everything would be uncovered. I couldn't just leave the vital clue laying on the floor. I suppose that's true. Because if the 2 girls, if Tomitake-san's death wasn't, publicized and, how he died wasn't released, there's no way Mion and Rena could have joked about that part. So maybe it's not medicine. Maybe it's actual poison. I couldn't just leave that vital clue laying on the floor. This syringe is proof. Writing that down, I stuck the syringe onto the back of the clock with plenty of tape. So it absolutely would not slip out and fall onto the floor. Firmly. The bell rang. They were here. I couldn't write anymore. But even still, there was one last thing that I had to write. I have no idea why it has become like this. This may be the closest thing to the truth out of everything I wrote on this note. If you are reading this, then I am probably already dead, though you may or may not find my body. If I was going to write out everything that could happen, either dying from the curse or being demoned away, you who are reading this, please uncover the truth. That is my only desire. With this, my last will and testament was complete. It wasn't certain that I was going to die, but it was my final plea, just in case. I folded the note, stuck it back onto the back of the clock, and returned the clock back to its usual spot. Just passing by to say meow. Hi, Eraser! I couldn't help but pray. Oishi-san, if something happens to me, I'd leave the rest to you. After that, I gazed down silently at Rena and Mion. This was probably the last time we'd ever see each other. Rena, Mion, I really had thought all of us were friends. But why did it end up like this? I never had any fun in my previous school. I only worried about standardized test scores, about if the school I hoped to get into was where I really wanted to go, or a safety net. That was all I talked about. It was a dull life. The people I called friends were also my rivals in studying, in competitions, in personal records, and standardized test scores. Everyone here taught me how unhealthy that lifestyle was. This month was really fun. Making a fuss over lunch, making a fuss over the club, making a fuss over the festival. Something hot began dripping from my face. Uncontrollable tears. Maybe the friends was the people we krilled along the way. I should have had no obligation to shed tears for them, but they wouldn't stop. Even if they were after my life, even if they were trying to kill me, everything that happened this month, I wouldn't forget it. Or it could be those happy days were all a facade as well. Was it all a trap? meticulously orchestrated up until today to ensnare me. Could it have been that I had just arbitrarily assumed that they were my friends? That couldn't have been the case. Both Ren and Mion, they really were my friends. Those happy days. There was nothing fake or unclear about them. Someone probably forced them to try to kill me. Someone probably forced them to try to kill me. Where their minds were taken over, possessed by the supernatural entity known as Oreshiro-sama. Regardless, both Rena and Mion, they were the best friends ever. And when they were coming after me, it wasn't of their own volition. Wait. They weren't the kind of people to sell off their friends regardless of whether or not they were forced. There was no way such a thing like that possessed by Oyashiro-sama could happen in reality. Then, did the real Rena and Mion come after me? What was I thinking? What a silly, dumb idea. Having beaten down both Rena and Mion, I was still debating if they were real ones or fake ones. There was no real or fake, only the reality that was before me. Rena and Mion were sprawled out at my feet. That was the only truth. I was only trying to twist the facts to my benefit. That I had beaten my friends to death. No matter how I spun it, I wouldn't change reality. Rena and Mion were both dead. Bros kind of face. It felt like there was a crack in the dam of strange emotions I was holding back. I felt like my calm state, which was nothing more than a bluff, had receded, and in that opening, insanity was leaking out. I killed them. Rena and Mion. I killed them. I mean, he's right. He did. The doorbell rang again. The unrelenting echo pulled me back into a state of composure once again. I didn't have a moment to spare. Quickly, I needed to get away. I didn't want to die. I would uncover everything after that. The identity of whoever or whatever had pushed me this far. Even if I had to drink mud and eat grass, I would survive. I would definitely survive. No time to ponder your feeling, bro. You gotta run. Put the orb down. I killed Rena, and for that very reason, I also killed Mion. I went that far just to keep living, so I can't die. For my sake, and for the sake of the late Rena and Mion, I have to survive. I will survive! Hey, hey! I ran towards the door and grabbed my shoes. The doorbell rang again, as if to urge me on. Behind this single solitary door. There they were. Keeping quiet, I headed towards the kitchen, headed towards the back door. Before opening the back door, I put my ear to it and checked for people outside. No one. After I put on my shoes, I opened the door slowly so as to not make a sound. There he is! The back door! A piercing voice echoed out. That voice stabbed through me, setting my hair on end. I had to run. Get out of here, Keiichi! What the heck? One after the other, I felt stuff like rationale and intelligence, those things you use when you have time to spare, spill out of me. I didn't feel any pain from the branches scratching my arms and forehead. My autonomously pulsing heart also felt neither fatigue nor pain. My entire being just wished to live. There was nothing else it desired. It probably had no complaints whatsoever. So, of course, I wouldn't feel fatigue. I just ran, just recklessly rushing in the direction I was already heading. Even if nobody was chasing after me, I'd still be running like this. There wasn't a thought in my head about where I was headed. Turning around, I felt a presence right next to me. That presence was, without a doubt, chasing me like my shadow. If I took even one misstep, I would be devoured. That's what I thought. So I didn't turn around. I didn't stop. I ran. Oop. I skipped. Oops. I ran at full speed. That was the chirping of the Higurashi telling me it was evening, trying to tell me something, and then I firmly heard it. The wailing cry of the victims who didn't make it. A wolf caught in a trap, still chewing off its leg to survive. Yeah. Would I be joining them? Quack. Only the Higurashi knew. They knew everything. They definitely knew. So I ran towards where I could hear more of the Higurashi chirps. But the farther I ran, the farther away their chirping became. I couldn't get near them. Why are you all running away? Was it my fault? Was I the one to blame? Then I apologize. I'm sorry. 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 Now he's starting to sound like Rena. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I felt that only the Higurashi knew. Spooky. When they cry. They did the thing with the title, the thing, the Higurashi, and they cry, and the thing, it's in the title. The smoking room was filled with a cloud of cigarette smoke. The expensive smoke filter gave off some crackling electric noise, but it didn't seem like it was doing anything at all. Why do smokers have to be shoved so far down this corridor where the sun didn't even reach? I recalled hearing that the tax revenue from tobacco was about 1/10 of the municipality's revenue. Say that again? That's crazy. That again! We were the most heavily taxed members of this municipality. Is that how I pronounce that? Municipality? Yeah, municipality. Are you saying that we're some kind of Higurashi when they cry? Perhaps. 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 Rebranding into a Higurashi themed VTuber and my fans are cicadas. Yeah, that's how Google says it. Municipality. Or not Google, but like the search engine I use. Didn't they come out? Didn't they do like a... No, they did a school days VTuber. Did they ever do a Higurashi VTuber? Like official? The Himerashi. I mean, Noko is very much inspired by Rena. They probably have. Probably. I love Noko. Sorry. Thinking about wife. We were the most heavily taxed members of this municipality, so I really wish they'd show us a little bit more respect. There's thousands of Toho VTubers. Well, I mean like official. But yeah, there's plenty of VTubers out there inspired by Toho. Why would you discard the 5 Manzu there? It's just decreasing your options. One of the younger detectives was having a staring contest with that Mahjong magazine called Next Turn. You're still sleeping in, Tenpai, if you cut the 5 Manzu. Oh wait, why did I say sleeping in? You're still in Tenpai if you cut the 5 Manzu. Why did I fill that in? Official like Corpo? No, like official like the official. Like, okay, so for example, I'll show you. There is a school days YouTube channel. And they did an official stream of like they did a Sekai VTuber, and I think they also did a Kotonoha VTuber. This. So like not corpo, but like quite literally the actual maybe like publisher. This. They did this. So I'm curious if, like, has Higurashi done the same thing? Nice boat. Would it have to be Ryukishi themselves to stream in that case? I'm not sure who the person is behind it. There is no official Higurashi VTuber. There is not. Yeah. Nice boat? Nice boat. Yeah. Yeah. But they don't stream often. It was just like a promotional thing, so. But yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of VTubers out there who are inspired by the characters of Higurashi. I think it depends on who has the right to it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think I skipped after that. You're betting on Haite. Then shouldn't you be going into It with a mangan? Are they talking about what's it called? They just said the word earlier. What is that game called? I forget what it is. I literally just read the word a second ago, and now it's gone from my mind. With the tiles. Mahjong, yes. Are they talking about Mahjong? Even seeing things inspired by Higurashi is based, in my opinion. True. True. I love Higurashi. Kuma-chan, look at the pond. They all discarded a 5 manzu. It's a safe tile. You'd hate it. You'd hate if at the end game someone was sitting on tenpai on the last turn, wouldn't you? I don't know what this guy is saying. These words, what do they mean? The kid let out another groan, put out his cigarette, then took out another one. I just don't agree. Why would you reduce your 2 options? By the way, you can't call Ron with your winning in the winning tile in that high-tay. What? Why is that? Just then, I heard a voice coming from down the hall. Are you here, Oishi-san? You have a call from a civilian. Did Keiichi get a hold of him? Whoa, ain't that something? Well, see you soon. I would ask my friends who play Mahjong, but they don't know how Mahjong works either. I do not understand it. I've always wanted to learn, but I don't know, I get so intimidated by all the rules and all the tile names and all this stuff. I feel like it's like a lot to learn. Because not only is it like a game I don't know, it's also like in a different language, I guess. Why can't you call Ron on it? Hold on for a second, Oishi. I gotta go, but have fun stream Heme. Take care, Panda. Take care. Oh, the bully didn't work. Why? Why did it not work? It was literally working earlier. What is going... Why? It was working and now it's not working. What if I remove this and I add this and I add this and I do this? Does this work now? Why does it not work in this scene? Does it work here? Is it just broken again, or is it just that scene? It's broken. It's broken again! I didn't do anything! What the heck, man? I'm sorry, I'll refund your points. I'll refund- No, don't redeem the bully! It's broken! I have to refund all your points. Hold on, hold on. Why is it broken again? It literally was just working. Sigh. 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 Annoying. I hate technology. I hate it. I hate it. Okay. Panda got his points back. Lame. Did we break it earlier when we spammed it? I don't think so. Sick room? Thank you. That's my room. The blood bag cannon is out of CO2? Yeah. That's it. Oh, I'm in the wrong room. It's supposed to be over here. Okay. Let us continue. Thank you for that. Sorry for coughing. Hold on. Thank you for that. Alright, I got one more sip of water. The man sitting in the seat Oishi-san was heading towards waved at the telephone receiver. Outside line. From a payphone. Oh, why thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting. This is Oishi. Who is it? Oishi-san, hello? If it isn't Meibara-san, why good evening. From the tone of Meibara-kun's voice, I already knew he was in a predicament. This was the first time Meibara-kun had phoned me, and he was calling from a payphone. Please calm down. Did something happen? His voice was erratic over the phone. He had completely lost his sense of composure. After checking that nobody else could hear, I prompted him in a hushed tone. What happened? Calm down, Meibara-san. I can have the local officers head to your location. I just remembered I didn't open this. There we go. Oishi is real. Oh, Oishi. Oishi-san. I'll be there soon, too. I think that's impossible. His voice was quivering and hoarse. He wasn't surrounded by people, even as he was making this call, was he? Meibara-san, sorry, I'm pulling my headphones up. You're calling from a payphone right now, right? Where is that payphone? There were no other sounds besides Meibara-kun's voice. It had to be a payphone booth. I scratched out a note and thrust it at my colleague sitting across from me. Hinamizawa, payphone booth. He understood quickly and hastily started on the internal lines. Calm down, Meibara-san. What is your current situation? It usually wasn't a good idea to tell someone panicking to do so, but it was not an unusual case. Meibara-kun didn't just get in trouble, get away, and then call me. He was in the midst of something dangerous right now. But yelling at Meibara-kun right now would just needlessly cause him to be even more frantic. Meibara-kun wasn't just calling to seek help. He was trying to tell us something more than that. And whatever it was, if I didn't get it from this call, I was certain there would never be a chance. My colleague pushed a note in front of me. There's only one phone booth in Hinamizawa. A patrol car is on the way. 5 minutes. That's too long. How many officers are in there? 2. Not enough. If it was as I imagined, there were likely quite a few people surrounding Meibara-kun. 5 minutes was too long. Did you call the officers stationed in Hinamizawa? He's scheduled to be on patrol. They're currently out, and it'll be impossible to contact them. God damn! Kuma-chan, bring the car around. Understood. Hello? Oishi-san. Hello? It's all right. I can hear you loud and clear. There was something wrong with Meibara-kun. That wasn't a normal coughing sound. Vomiting? Or was it blood? He had already been attacked? Was he injured? Meibara-san, the police are on their way. They'll be there in a couple of minutes, so hold on somehow. Hello? Can you hear me? Meibara-san. I could hear on the other end of the line that he was having a coughing fit. Somebody get this man a cough drop. The worst possible situation popped into my head. Meibara-san, who was the culprit? How many are there? I thought... At first the culprit was human. Ha! I couldn't tell if that was a cough or vomiting. Are you alright, Meibara-san? I thought that the culprit was a person, and not Oyashida-sama's curse, up until now, but I guess in the end... Hack! It was an intense bout of coughing, then vomiting, but I guess Oyashida-sama does exist. No, he's here. Meibara-san, please just calm down. I had been thinking it was strange for a while now. It's been following me this whole time. I run and I run and run and run and run, but it just sticks to me like my shadow. But slowly, so slowly, it's digging itself into my back. Meibara-san, are they right now, perhaps, right behind you? Behind me. Right behind me. Please, Meibara-san. I can tell you're scared. Please, who is it? That right behind you? I can't just look behind me. If I do, I understand that you're scared, but please tell me. You just need to turn around a bit. Who is it? Who is behind you, Meibara-san? Right after I said that, I could hear him vomiting intensely. What followed was a nightmarish sound. Meibara-san, it couldn't be that you are clawing out your own throat? There was no answer, but I could hear something like scratching. Uh-oh! There was a bang as if something was being hit. Meibara-kun had probably dropped the receiver. I could hear groaning and vomiting over the other end and a repeating abnormal noise. Hello? Hello? Meibara-san! Hello? I knew how far away my voice would sound on the other end, but I couldn't help but shout, "Hello!" At that moment, I heard whispering coming from the other end. I couldn't tell what he was saying from the way he was saying it. Was he talking to himself? Or was he talking to someone there? Hello? Meibara-san. Rather than whispering, it was some kind of mantra he was chanting over and over. I focused my senses, trying to pick up what he was saying. What was he repeating? What exactly? What happened? Beep! Suddenly the line went dead. Did he use up his time? It was because it was a payphone. Ah, it was because it cut out so abruptly. The last thing he said came out clearly in my mind. Oishi-san, the car is good to go. Oishi-san. It was... I'm sorry. Oishi-san. That's what he was repeating over and over. Uh-oh, just like Rena was. He said, "I'm sorry." I had a gut feeling. There was no longer a need to hurry. I could hear the chirp of the Higurashi spilling in from the open window. He's gonna have some form of PTSD. He just heard a kid die on the phone. Yeah. Maybe he's still alive. Quee. I should have been able to hear them this entire time. I just wasn't paying attention. Why did I focus on them all of a sudden? Quee. Whether they were trying to tell me something? Oh, were they trying to tell me something? Only the Higurashi knew. That's how I felt. The Higurashi. When they cry. When they cry. July 1983. In Hinamizawa, a remote village near Shishibone City, there was a murder involving 2 female students. Stop! The suspect is Keiichi Meibara, aged 1X. The suspect called over his 2 female classmates, Rena Ryugu and Mian Sonozaki, to his house and beat them to death with a metal bat. He called them over? The scene of the crime was the suspect's room on the 2nd floor of his house. The inside of the room was covered with a significant quantity of splattered blood, and there were signs of a struggle with the victims. In addition to the scene of the crime, the entryway, living room, and kitchen all had traces of a struggle. What? At the entryway, the shoe rack and wall had evidence of being impacted by a strong blunt force. It is believed to have been the same bat as the murder weapon. Having no traces of blood, it is believed that the destruction occurred before the murders. There is the possibility that the suspect overpowered his victims to keep them from fleeing. In the living room, the rug had been pulled back and then thrown aside. It's hard to believe that this had a connection to the struggle with the victims, and thus the reason for this remains unknown. In the kitchen, the garbage bag was torn apart and its contents were spread out on the floor. Garbage was strewn about in the surrounding area, and handprints, believed to belong to the suspect, were discovered. It is believed that the suspect had for some reason taken out the garbage and struck it with his fist. The reason for this remains unknown. What? In addition, there was a note stuck to the fridge. The words, "Where was the needle?" were written on it. Oh, was there a needle? The meaning behind this remains unclear. Just in case, the garbage was searched, but a needle was not discovered. He should have wrote this all on the note on the back of the clock. Though the garbage on the floor was functional, it had been left open ever since the suspect moved in. The garage door was found closed. The suspect's fingerprints were discovered on the garage door. The reason behind this remains unknown. A suspect fled the scene of the crime. However, a patrolling officer, Hinamizawa local PD, found the suspect collapsed inside the phone booth. At the time of discovery, the suspect was unconscious in critical condition. He was rushed to the local hospital for treatment, but did not regain consciousness and died. No! 24 hours later. The results of the autopsy indicate the immediate cause of death to have been a hypovolemic shock. It was determined that the suspect had clawed out his own throat with his fingernails, and the resulting bleeding caused his death. With the similarity to the death of Tomitake-san the prior week, the police believed there to be a connection and have opened an investigation. However, due to the wishes of the local authorities, it will be a confidential investigation. Due to the abnormal nature of the death, it was suspected that drugs were involved. But as with Tomitake-san, no traces were discovered. What prompted all this remains inexplicable. As such, this case is being treated as an act committed on impulse. However, with several accounts of suspects' bizarre behavior leading up to the incident, it is possible that this was premeditated. Separated from his group of friends, isolation, inexplicable behavior. Several days before the incident, the suspect began carrying around a bat. The suspect was observed displaying aggressive behavior, as well as talking to himself at school. His classmates actually heard portions of what he was saying. 2 days before the incident, the suspect declared to his parents the possibility of his death. Due to these circumstances, the police have begun an investigation on the possibility that his crime was not committed on impulse, but was instead planned several days in advance. Afterwards, a note was found in the suspect's room that he had written himself. The note was written on 2 sheets of B5 college ruled notebook that had been torn in half. As if trying to conceal, it was stuck behind the clock on the wall. The contents are as written in the appendix. The police believe it to be strongly related to the incident. The police changed their line of investigation based on the possibility that the suspect was involved in some sort of incident himself. However, no further clues were found, casting doubt on the credibility of the note. Was the crime impulsive or premeditated? With the situation unclear and no further developments, the case has been labeled as unresolved. However, the following year, suspicion arose regarding the nature of the note. The note was not written on 2 halves of B5 paper from 2 separate sheets, but was originally a single sheet of B5 paper. In order to erase several lines from the middle, someone had torn them out. Oh! Judging from the size of the letters, the missing section is estimated to be 2 to 3 lines. It is highly probable that the person who eliminated the lines in question is not the suspect. In addition, judging from the traces of large quantities of the cellophane tape being stuck to the back of the clocks, speculation that something other than the note was stuck there has arisen. Oh no, the syringe is gone! The person who first discovered the crime was a detective rumored to have a connection with the incident. Kuraoto Oishi. Oh, him. He underwent voluntary questioning. But denies involvement in any damages to the note. Maybe he has something to do with it. The suspect's note. I, Keiichi Meibara, am in fear for my life. I do not know why they are after my life. The only thing I do know is that it has to do with Oyashiro-sama's curse. Rena and Mion are conspirators and perpetrators. There are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They have a white van. This is all on the first sheet. Everything below this has been ripped out. This is from the second sheet. Everything above this has been ripped out. I have no idea why it has become like this. If you are reading this, then I am probably already dead. Though the only difference may be the presence or lack of a body. You who are reading this, please uncover the truth. This is my only desire. Keiichi Meibara. What the heck? No! The part about the syringe and stuff is gone. What if Oishi took it? What the heck? What the heck? Dude. A new scenario has been unlocked. All cast review session has become available. To play it, select extra on the title monitor and then all cast review session. Whoever raided his house took the syringe too? Yeah, absolutely. What the heck? It can't end that way. I need closure. What is this? All cast review session. What? Oh, it's like a... It's like a thank you letter. Thank you for buying Higurashi When They Cry, Onikakushi, a visual novel by 7th Expansion. How was it? If you enjoyed it even a little bit, it would make me happy. You can get closure in later loops and nippa clappy. Even a little bit is stretching it. That incredibly dark ending made me angry, you know? Maybe made us angry. Kenny, thank you so much for checking into the blood bank. Welcome in. As I understand it, this Onikakushi chapter is supposed to be somewhat of a prologue to the entire series. Ah, how could the prologue have such an incredibly dark ending? Yeah, but doesn't that happen sometimes? The player digging through the story in order to avoid the bad ending is the point of these types of games after all. It's still the first chapter. I'm looking forward to the next one. What happens in the next chapter, Rena? Do you know? Yeah, they said the next chapter will introduce another aspect of the story. That's strange. That's a strange way of putting it. What does that mean? What does that mean? In this chapter, they introduced the string of mysterious deaths that were happening in Hinamizawa recently, right? The next chapter will introduce some sort of history of Hinamizawa. Ah, with one strange event happening after another, I got totally lost. What exactly is Oyashida-sama's curse about? Actually, what is Oyashida-sama to begin with? They didn't explain that much. That's true. I haven't heard much about it, but I kind of have a bad feeling about it. It feels like it'll be another one of those scary stories where somebody gets cursed again. Tough luck, eh, Kei-chan? What kind of curse is he gonna get hit with this time? Okay. I'm good. I'm good on the rest of this. We did it! We read all of the first chapter. Holy. It was worth staying up longer to be here for the end. I always thought visual novels were unfit streaming content, but it was very enjoyable. Thank you for the stream. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, PPA. Yeah, I'm really glad. I also feel like visual novels are not like the best streaming content, but I don't know. Sometimes they're nice, you know. Sometimes they're nice. Yeah, it was really fun. I had a lot of fun. We'll definitely read the other ones, but I will have an announcement later on, kind of explaining the future of my visual novel readings and stuff like that. So look out for that in the Discord. There is a link in chat if you need that. Also, if you're new here are my socials. You can follow me on Twitter or Blue Sky to know when I go live. Thanks for the stream and the whole game. Yeah, thank you. I thought I wouldn't like the story much as I did going into this. It's really good. It's really good. I liked it a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end here since I have been talking quite a bit. I'm gonna raid Gloomy. She's doing a deep dive on medieval torture. I always hang out in the chat and the person that I raid after the stream, so if you want to continue hanging out with me, go ahead and join in. Here's a raid message for both subs and non-subs. Feel free to copy one and paste it one time over in Gloomy's chat. And as always, I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Make sure to get up, walk around, stretch, drink some water, eat something yummy, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. On Sunday, I'm going to be playing. I'm blanking on the name right now. Let me pull it up. Undertale. Sunday is Sin Day. I'll be playing Undertale. Thank you, Hime. No, thank you. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I really, really, really appreciate it. It means so much. Otsuhime! Have a good one. I'll see you on Sunday. Otsuhime. Bye-bye.